All right.
Mhm.
Good evening. I was about to say morning. Fuck. Good evening and welcome everybody to the live stream. We lost that prick. Fucking prick. Anyways,
You've got to make a grand entrance.
a grand entrance. It's too late. I started the damn thing and he just up and
He's going to
dipped.
be fashionably late.
Fashionably late indeed. Where the fuck were you?
See, I told you.
See, I was out there getting a beer.
Getting a beer?
Yeah, getting a beer and petting my dog.
Getting a beer and petting your dog. You realize that everybody saw you dip, right?
Huh?
Everybody saw you dip.
We were live when you dipped.
Got a beer, got a dog.
Now you said, well, you got the pickup truck.
Got a pickup truck.
Has
Oh
your
my
mama been
god.
run over by a train yet?
Anywho, let me make sure that this shit is working. Okay, good to go. Uh Thank you, Jared. It is good. It's so nice to see you. Always appreciated. So, back to focus on what's up and what we're doing today. I thought we would try to establish what I'm trying to go for right now. Yes, this is the shadow guy. I as much as I enjoy AVG's panels and hopping onto other panels, I will have to say that I've always been a creative first rather than political first, but I do like making political analysis as well as political philosophy and exploring that era, but I like using it to create worlds more than anything else. So, trying to push over towards a creative endeavor, I want to focus on world building, simply put. Yeah. So right now we're going to be focusing the first episode of world building on cosmology, since that is what's up in the itinerary. How to make a
Mhm.
world.
Wait, Cosmology, I had that magazine.
What the fuck? What magazine?
Cosmology.
Not
I,
cosmopolitan.
you're derailing me. 5 minutes in, not even 5 minutes in, you're derailing me. Anywho, um,
I'm
so
sorry. What's the difference, ma'am?
welcome to my co-host, Shadow the Titan. Go ahead and show your book series that you have.
Where is my beer? Wait,
Vic, what is your
huh.
book series?
Oh, uh, where's my dog?
Where's
Anyway,
your damn book?
see,
Firefly,
this
introduce
is why
yourself.
men.
No, Firefly, introduce yourself, please. Everybody
Hi,
has
I'm
a timeout.
Firefly. I'm, I'm here to help out with anything I can. I'm kind of helping Shadow with the series, kind of editing,
Series,
helping
please.
check some things he's
Announce a
missing.
series. Announce a series, please. This is fucking ridiculous.
He's writing a series called The Gaia Chronicles. So eventually he'll get back on and be able to explain it. But it's going to be a very good series. I mean, he's worked really hard on it, and the characters are great. The whole atmosphere about it is just it keeps you entertained.
If only Shadow could actually properly explain it and stop going off and grabbing his fucking beer.
Or his dog.
Or his dog, whatever one. He left his camera. Oh my fucking gosh. Well,
Like, seriously, he wanted this.
This is
Gotta
what he
be a
wanted.
part of it.
This is what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow, please come back. Anywho, I guess the first moment of understanding what cosmology is, we can basically go through like Merriam-Webster's definition of cosmology, although what the take that we're going to be having is going to be radically different because it's going to be something more applicable to creative endeavors. Oh, you're back, Shadow? Are you back now?
Yeah,
Are you willing to cooperate?
Yes.
Oh, he tracked down his dog.
You found. Oh, you have a husky. Oh, that's a
Love you,
cute
puppy.
husky.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
told you I
tell
was
us.
gonna find my dog.
Yeah. I wanted you to talk about your book series, though. The Gaia
Um,
Chronicles.
since we're being super specific right now, love my dog. Okay, so I am the author of the Gaia Chronicles. It is a shonen epic fantasy based on 3,000 years of Earth. Um, I enjoy cosmology as a whole. I've taken Brandon Sanderson's world building classes. I've gone through Mercer Mayer's world building classes, Fractured Fairy Tales. If it's a major series, I've probably read it at least twice. I've read probably 13,000 books because I had a lot of time and no friends. Uh, except my dog. Good boy.
Dang, bro.
Um, I have been working on this book series for about 9 years. It has been in my atmosphere for about 20, though. I actually wrote this series completely once. Got to book 7 because I didn't work on this cosmology. No, I got to book 6, didn't work on the cosmology, and realized I left a plot hole in book 2 that ruined the rest of the series. Hence why I
Jeez.
feel it's important for me to have this conversation with y'all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, which is on the radically different end, is that I've been working on. I've done a lot of world building because I have a lot of experience in world building, usually because of TTRPGs. So every way, so how I build a setting in general is starts with basically what the setting's intent, or probably take what has already been established, which I've been a DM multiple times before, and build on top of that, of whatever has been established. But now that I'm creating a world of my own, which is I guess for right now I'm dub I'm dubbing it World of Saima. I'm already trying to build it up, but
So,
it's a
come here.
bro. I'm building it up from the ground. It's just like I muted you, Shadow, because your audio was leaking. But before we actually get that far into it, I thought it would be fair of talking about like the definition of cosmology, which by Merriam-Webster.
Wait, question. What the hell is a TTRPG?
My fucking gosh. TTRPGs are tabletop role-playing games. So that is basically, what is it?
Yeah, like
That
Dungeons and Dragons and Magic
Dungeons and
Gathering, stuff like that.
yeah. No, Magic the Gathering is not a TTRPG. So you're talking about like Dungeons and Dragons, um, Paizo's, what is it called? Pathfinder. There's also Cyberpunk, and also Shadowrun, and games like that. TTRPGs, they're called tabletops because you basically have a rule book, somebody that tells you how the story is played out, and people are playing their own characters in a setting. Hi, KT. Welcome.
So is a
Hi, hello.
TTRPG kind of like a JRPG?
No,
No, JRPGs are video games. TTRPGs, you can
no.
actually play it in real life.
Wait, so are they racist?
No,
Huh?
I don't.
Damn. Did
How
you
did
call
that
it
surprise me?
tabletops? It's a tabletop RPG. That's all it is.
He doesn't know what a tabletop RPG
I
is.
see. I've been back there for a minute just listening to you explain. Like, first of all, the fact that you know Shadowrun, I really fucking like you. You hear me, ma'am? I really like you. I'm not going to deny it. But yeah, no, yeah. It's just. If we being honest, I like how you brought up JRPGs. Western RPGs are tabletop RPGs, to be honest. Like in video games, if that makes sense.
Mm. I get if mm. I haven't really thought about it that much, but then again, the most TTRPGs that I've played has been D&D, and I played that
Yeah.
extensively, but it was particularly 5e. I know that there's also 4e. I mean,
I about to say it go up to like 11th edition now, I believe, or something crazy. It's they're
11th. I heard that they were supposed to be working on
or is it
technically a
9?
6th edition for
No, they going back to revise it because people like the older versions better. See,
yeah,
5, that's back when we talking about like Neverwinter Nights and all that shit. If you know what game that is, like stuff like
Neverwinter
that.
Nights. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, technically they have a lot of lore books and that's been around for forever. I have a friend
Hmm.
that knows more about this, but that's because he's what is
See,
it?
that's built off 5th edition. That's what I'm saying. That's how,
Oh
like,
no, it's
believe
older.
it.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
that's actually older than that.
Hmm.
My friend knows more about the lore because knows more about that lore because he's lived through that time period.
Hmm.
When it comes to Neverwinter Nights, there's also the Ravenloft
Yeah.
series. There is also Greyhawk,
Hmm.
and then
Oh,
another
Vampire the
series.
Blood Masquerade too. I forgot they have
Yes,
a.
that is actually TTRPG.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I love it too.
basically, for Wizards of the Coast, I guess I can say Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast has had so many freaking games and worlds that they've built up with setting lore and book series that it goes on for so long, and it was established more than 30 years back. My friend used to run these games.
Well, he used to run Wizards.
No, huh?
What you mean, like as a DM, or you mean like he used to run the company?
No, the games. Like he's as a DM.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, as in when no, not Wizards of the Coast, because they switched company names. When
Hmm.
the first Dungeons and Dragons came out, as in like I think it's AD&D,
Yeah.
he was a teenager at the time, and he purchased all the books as a kid and then would run these games. And he
Mm,
spent all of his early years playing DMing as
okay.
well. So he's very familiar with TTRPGs, and he's also my DM for a Curse of Strahd campaign. But how I like to play is radically different from how current D&D players would play their games. Honestly,
Nah, I get it.
I
I be
can't.
trying to build my own tabletop RPG settings because like my one of my hobbies is building games. I've been working on a game for about 3 years, me and a couple of friends, and we like RPGs. So that's kind of like what we build our game settings on, kind of like tabletop RPG mechanics, because we want to give people as much freedom as possible. It's really restricted in a game mode, but we're
Yeah.
trying to get as close as possible.
So, anywho, whenever you're trying to establish a cosmology, whatever your background information is going to be, the first thing to consider about um, there's two things to consider. One is what you trying to create, and then two, what kind of theme do you want to decide on your setting being? Because they basically overlap with one another a lot of the times.
Well, what's the
Um,
difference between what and why? I mean, if I'm writing a book, why I'm doing this because I'm writing a book. What am I writing a book? What's the difference between a book, a series, a TTRPG, a game, the cosmology specifically? Like, isn't it all the same cosmological process?
I mean,
No,
no.
because even when we talking about, all right, for everything we're talking about, it's the parameters, right? Okay, so like books and tabletop RPGs are closer, right? Because they're basically you're just whatever the imagination. You know what I'm saying? A video game, you kind of got to put in like real set parameter. Like for world building for games, how we do it is we'll build like the setting, right? Like we'll say this is the world. We want to have 12 cities there, and then we kind of build through the lore of like who the people are who maybe made the city, or groups within the city and stuff like that. Like the parameters change because again, you can't just add your imagination to a video game. They got to be a little bit more
Yeah,
stable.
everything has to be set. For books in particular, your the scope of how you want to focus the book is dependent upon what kind of narrative that you're trying to build up, specifically through POVs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is your overarching narrative, as well as what kind of POV are you aiming for? Whether it is third person omnipotent, third person limited, or first person. Although first person and third person limited can overlap a lot, unless third person limited, you're having multiple POVs, which that's appropriate when you do third person limited.
which
But
I've actually done.
very wonky if you try to do multiple POVs with first person. Extremely wonky.
Whoa, hold on. You're not gonna insult me and let you get away with that, man. First
I
and
didn't insult
foremost,
you.
what if your character has multiple personalities?
Third person limited.
No, first person. They're still the same
In
person. It's
first
still their story.
person, then you're okay.
Well, no,
Multiple
in a book,
personalities.
in the book, yeah, it is framed as if it's still a separate person. Like we know it's the same person, but you got to think about it in book, right? They don't see the separate person, so you're detailing a different person and even explaining the differences with that person from the regular person. You get what I'm saying?
Right, you're having to
Well,
detail the shift.
okay,
Yeah.
then so here's the thing. Depending on what kind of narrative that you want, one, it is still going to be wonky regardless because of what you're trying to do as a technicality. How effective you will be, I'm not saying not to do it. I'm saying that you have boundaries that you're going to be attempting to overcome when you're trying to do it. And the only people that can actually say whether this works out or not is going to be your audience when they read it. So just because they say it's wonky doesn't mean that you can't do it. Nah, creative writing, just creative writing in general, has the first word creative. So whatever rules somebody establishes for creative writing, you treat them as guidelines, okay? Does that make
Listen here,
sense?
listen here, Jacob. I'm gonna need you to calm down.
Anywho, I would say that if you're trying to build one book, the cosmology doesn't need to be that much, doesn't need to have that much depth. If you're just one book, standalone, period, doesn't need to have that much depth. You just need to make sure that everything is concise and contained. But if you want to expand it to make it into a series, then yeah, you're going to need to actually pause,
Why?
look over your story for
Because now we're
consistency.
talking about continuity, yeah.
Yes,
Like that's the
continuity.
main fan thing. Like, so you gotta look at this from an approach of like you're a fan of books and games and shit like that. Like me personally, I love Bethesda games. I hate the lack of continuity sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Like it bothers the shit out of me.
Stop playing
Cause
with
why the
fire.
yeah word? Cause why can I
Literally gonna
run?
burn your house down.
Yeah,
Stupid
but
motherfucker.
Wasn't here
Uh,
fire.
Go ahead, Katie. I'm so sorry.
no, you're okay. No, I just say, but yeah, the continuity is definitely something that'll irk your fan base. You know, even so, before if you're making this an expanded world, you definitely want to make sure your peoples have continuity and things. Even in terms of you got to think sometimes. See, you got to make shit open sometimes. I would say leave things really vague in some areas, and then leave some things really specific, like to
And
focus in that time period. Leave
and
it
that's
vague so that we can fill the gaps in later on, or
which I would say as a standalone book that works better because you're not trying. If you keep it as a standalone book, you can leave several things vague because it just needs to be concise and fit with that one narrative. But when you start breaking it into a series, that means that you need to already have something set, like you need to have the foundations of it to be solid, like a house. Basically, it's just like you don't build a house on sand. You want it to be on solid ground so that when you create anything within that world, it is consistent. And when you try to intersect with different concepts, there will be synergy with it and it's not going to contradict. I know that I'm
So
trying. Yes.
I disagree, but not to the level that y'all might think I am.
Uh-huh.
Um, I believe even if you're making a single standalone book, one story, a detailed cosmology keeps your story consistent. And what I mean by that is, I believe even if I'm writing a fantasy book about, let's say, Assassin's Creed, right? I'm writing a one-off book based on my interpretation of Assassin's Creed. Even in my story, I should still build a religion that is already rooted in that world. Because most of us can say that religions are pretty much universal, even if that religion is non-religion, like leftism.
And
But
I will say that here's the thing: is just like, regardless of anything, what is more important is that you need to have detailed is whatever is relevant to the character, specifically for like the focus characters.
Or the current
I
period
have a
you're
question.
focusing on.
Have y'all ever been like hyper analyzed in a story?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. The reason I brought up Death Battle earlier, shout out Death Battle, is because what they'll do, sometimes good, sometimes not, is they will break down everything about these characters that some people don't even think about. But one of the things that people do think about is, hey, people think about the little details you might not care about. When I talk to my publisher about my series, right? One of the first, she ends up asking me, hey, so what's the religion of this planet? I was like, I don't know, Earth. She's like, so let me get this straight. This lady's been in power for 3,000 years. She structured an entire power scaling. She created a world where people are dependent and constantly in a war, but there's not a religion to praise the God that she's pretending to be.
Wait,
I
you
was
didn't
like,
think of you didn't think of a religious structure when you made her a goddess?
Cosmology. Look,
No,
I
hold on. You created a goddess, but you didn't create a religious structure surrounding her?
Hey, yo,
so
no, chill, because you don't got to. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, you don't have
What
to.
is wrong
but
with you?
hold on, Glacier, KT. Notice what just happened real time in our conversation.
But it was very, very relevant to your story. You created a goddess without a religious following.
So wait, hold on. No, she had a religious following. I just didn't care to explain it. But
why didn't you think that would be relevant?
Because she's an empress. Hey, if you don't believe me, I have a beam that can wipe your entire city off the map. I just choose not to because I kind of need you to forge for ice for me. Like, imagine Hunger Games on steroids. So, and even like, now let's move into the Hunger Games real quick. Think about that. The Hunger Games is still based on the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you put it in perspective,
history.
we had to understand why the districts were separated. We had to learn how they got separated in the way that they did, because each of those little things played a key point in one of the core conflicts of the story, i.e. the Hunger Games. So whenever you don't think about things like that, whenever I'm like, well, she's a scientist. Well, if she's a scientist, why wouldn't she plan for this? Well, if she's a scientist, how did she use that to conquer God? Well, if she conquered God, why wouldn't she change the story so the world didn't see her as a traitor? And then you start going down this rabbit hole and you realize, shit, she would have made a religion that she's controlled and been the figurehead of. She's essentially been the Pope for 3,000 years. Why wouldn't she have made a religion that she can modify as she needs?
Well, that's
Especially
why I
one of the
said
biggest things he's doing is trying to get love and respect. So she would need that.
yeah,
Right.
for sure.
KT?
Now I was about to say, I will say that's why I was saying earlier about why I may not have to, because I'll give you like a good example. My book is like it's something like that, right? But you got like basically, it's closer to Marvel and DC shit, right? Where you got like these superheroes on Earth, then you got like galactic level threats, then you got like cosmic level threats and shit, right? Well, it's this one girl named like Primordia. She's basically, I mean, her name's pretty self-explanatory. She's like the one, you know what I'm saying, the first human. She's really who created humanities, and she understands the powers and shit. She doesn't have a religion. No one even knows who the fuck she is, to be honest with you, until their powers start awakening. And then this one girl, her ability is basically like she can, I was telling you, they can change time. Certain people can change like short periods of time, maybe a second, maybe up to 5. Well, this one girl, she can see the past, present, future, all types of shit. But it's such a powerful power, it basically like fucks her body up. So she's trying to figure it out and whatever. But she figures out the first name of Primordia. Like everybody else is just kind of guessing. Like it's something bigger at play here, and we feel like we're the gods now. So we don't want to call it a god, but it's definitely something bigger than us at play. So I'm saying you don't always have to, but in your story you definitely have to, because like you said, she wants the love and praise.
I guess I'm letting you guys talk about your story, but I haven't really delved into mine, mainly because I'm still working on it since it's World of Sima. But how I've structured my setting is supposed to be in layers, where I do have the cosmology, but there is a huge separation between the cosmology of my setting as well as the planet itself. Whatever the scope that I'm using is hyper fixated on a specific time period as well as a specific country within a vast multi-continental setting. So the most that people ever see about the cosmology is whatever religions have been established, but not every character is going to know about the religious structure, much less the truth about the cosmology. And I like that separation. So,
Glacier, let me ask you a question. Like, I
yes.
love her. No, I actually love that. But here's what my question becomes. So, do you believe that there is a public cosmology, a private cosmology, an elite cosmology, and then the author's cosmology?
I'm gonna have to say no.
So
So what we're basically trying to suggest is that how many separate cosmologies are going to be there? It's just going to be one cosmology. What you're manipulating is perception.
yes, I agree. But each of those perceptions have a name.
Yes, they would have a name, but I wouldn't use I would put it as perception rather than cosmology. So as an example, the cosmology is that the world that I created was created by one God. But with that, I deliberately made it biblical in nature. It was one God, but with many angels. But I haven't decided on everything. But long story short, the angels have free will. Some of them rebelled against their God and tried to take over the planet. So there have been times where they've made their own creations on the planet and got bored. Basically, they made their own creations as a way of trying to create more power within the planet. And then once they have gotten to power, like once the creations started getting wise to how the gods are operating, they destroy the planet and then create more creations. And that has been a cycle that's been repeating over and over again. And so basically that ends up stopping at one point, and that is a separate narrative of my own that I'm just keeping away behind locked doors, but that doesn't stop the original deity from being from existing. So the gods that are present are the gods that manage to accumulate their own power, as well as accumulate their own churches as on top of that.
I do like how people always use some sort of religious thing. See, I'll be honest with you. The main reason I don't really have, being frank, no type of religion in my book, well, like you said, it's settings and areas. So, long story short, the world was here, powers get unlocked. You know, people can't control their powers. Some people have fire, some people have thunder, things of that nature. Basically, the explosion of things started basically destructing humanity. So the first, so far I got let me think. I have 5 arcs, and it's 20 chapters per arc. Well, anywhere between 17 to 20 chapters per arc. So the current things that I'm just working on is basically the disintegration of society, like where, and even like now they're just meeting Primordia, who explains to them like, hey, I'm a suspend time for a certain amount of time for the next 6 months. I'm gonna allow y'all to handle the situation. Whoever the fuck wins, wins. But regardless, in the next 6 months, it's on whoever won to now lead humanity in this direction. Oh yeah, and by the way, you got 3 more years before you realize after that that I'm not the God. Like, and I haven't been here for y'all because I've actually been defending y'all, fighting against other gods who want to destroy not only y'all world but this galaxy and shit. Basically, Primordia is God for us, but she was her sin was making us. She was never supposed to make us, right? So, I don't really have religious thoughts on it, but I do think it's kind of funny how everybody always has this God thing with what I'm saying, with their books and stuff. I find that wildly interesting.
I mean, I guess for me is that something that comes with human nature. I guess whenever you try to study human nature, before there was ever any form of society, but when we were at the stages of hunters and gatherers, they had the existence, they had a belief in
Higher power.
spirits, yes, spirits, and deities of their own, something that is beyond their control. Oh, okay. Something that was beyond their own understanding. They tried to make stories about it to make sense of it, or they would have try to make offerings to an entity before established religion was ever created. This is you can find it with glyphs like statue of Venus and stuff like that. There's no rational functional reason as to why they created it, but it can be assumed that it was used as a as something as almost like religious iconography. So
No,
for
for
some
sure.
part for some reason, humans in general desire something to believe in. So I believe
Yeah.
that it seems a bit irrational to it almost seems irrational to try to assume that humans do not need a god, because usually whenever you remove God from the table, or at least when people write stories that remove God from the table, they end up creating a replacement belief system where they
Mhm.
treat with dogmatic zeal, from what I've noticed.
That's that.
I want
I
to
mean,
ask the panel a question.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What is cosmology to you?
Doing hair? No, I just playing. I just playing. I swear to God, y'all see. When I first came up and I heard y'all say it, I swear that's the first thing I was like, "What the fuck does cosmetology got to do with world building?" I'm
Oh my
confused.
God.
Like,
See, it wasn't just
what?
me.
At first, I ain't even gonna lie. At first, when y'all said it, I swear to God, like until I heard it, like heard y'all saying, no cosmology. I'm like, okay, I get this.
Yeah, no tea.
Yeah. But at first, I was like, damn, oh, my boy must got somebody who power is being like a beautician in this bitch. Like, I ain't gonna lie.
Got that super weed.
There could be
Let me
powers like
do
that.
you know what I'm saying? She might be like, yo, let me do your head and then take over your mind after she done
Oh
relaxed
my
you and
God.
watch
Oh,
your
no.
scalp type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. I'm with that.
It's just like let the suds control you.
You feel me? And look, make her name backwards anagram for Erica Badu. You feel whatever that
What?
is back.
Who's that? Oh my gosh. Anywho, cosmology for me, it's more of like
I want to make a point that makes 2 people who said cosmology and cosmopolitan were the same thing. So I now feel justified.
no,
Good job,
what?
KT.
Cosmopolitan
He
is
said
not. That's a
no.
magazine.
I'm about to say
KT
cosmopolitan's
said
a whole that you threw in a third element.
cosmetology. You were paying attention. KT said cosmetology. Ridiculous. Anywho,
Look, they're all the same thing.
No,
Words
One's
matter.
one's a magazine, one's the magazine about the pretty making, and the other one is
The
about building a
practice of pretty
universe,
making.
about building an inherent universe that's so strong that you literally can't break its own rules. So that's why I asked y'all a question that none of you Negroes had answered.
well, you
What
interrupted
is
me before I
cosmology?
could answer it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on somebody else's time right now. I'll be
Apparently,
good.
apparently. Okay. Again, it's just cosmology is basically the foundations of your world. Yeah, but I said this before. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was
It's
about to
basically
say.
the
Why
foundations
are
of
you
your
being so
world.
aggressive? See, you got to get off the testosterone. You're too
Quiet,
aggressive.
quiet.
No, listen. For me personally, I would say I've always just looked at it as the lore, your base lore. Like, and for me, I know that may not be the same for everybody, but for me, everything starts with the lore. Like, I don't start a book, I won't start a game, I won't write a fucking rap song until I have my lore set and established. Like, I need to understand, like, what's the point of this, and then from
Well,
there I can
before
establish out.
Firefly goes in, KT, hey, you actually made a point that I actually thought about when me and Glacier were talking earlier. You said before you make a rap song, you think of the cosmology of the rap song,
Mm,
even if it's based in reality, right?
yeah.
So how does that work?
So, like, me personally, if you listen to my songs, my hook matches one. I'm not a random rapper. Like, I do have random bars as everyone else does, but it does line up into whatever the story is. Even if the hook sounds random, that's because there's no story, right? But if my hook is like I can't even think of a song off my head for some reason.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one I was playing that one day that I done lived a hard life, hard days, heavy nights, living trife, stay deep, very white, put them killers straight on your bitch ass like Saga, like it's a hood nigga song. So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I build for my, like, I might sometimes no, but it's always about my hook for me, because the hook is the story. That's the thing that's catching you in. Again, that's probably that lore cosmetology point. So, like, I either start writing my verse and then I'll be
Cosmology.
like, yeah, shut up. You heard what I said. You know what I meant, motherfucker. No, but yeah, but nah, I either start my verse and then I write the hook that matches my verse, or I'll make a hook and then I just write the verse around that. But yeah, that'll probably be the hook is my cosmo.
So
I said apology,
cosmology.
man.
What about you,
Yeah.
Firefly?
Cosmology.
No,
Sorry.
cosmology is very important because I mean that's what is establishing the story. So if you're wanting to bring people in, it has to be strong. If you're wanting
I.e.
people to, so you want to make sure that like KT said, the lore. What is the basis? What is the foundation? What is the topic? How are these people interconnected? What is the overall scope of the story? So
Basically how i.e. this is the metaphysics of your world almost, as another way of conveying it. The metaphysics of your world. What is the truth of your world, so to speak?
Okay, so that's where I have a problem with what everybody has said, because I don't necessarily disagree with y'all. But I believe your cosmology is your codex. It is the DNA of your story. We don't even have to explain how the magic and physics work. None of that really is even going to matter unless we know the DNA of what your core story is. And I believe cosmology is analogous with DNA, is analogous with codex, which is why I made a codex. I have a codex for each one of my books, and I have a expansive Gaia Chronicles codex that I make an app. So as the books come out, I'm going to update the codex with a QR code from the next book. So then the codex that is publicly known, publicly as in the world outside of the readers, they can read, they can scan and become part of that new world, while it expands the world that they already have. It expands the new codex so that dictionary becomes an encyclopedia. that encyclopedia becomes an atlas, or I don't know, would atlas be a step above encyclopedia? Botanical, maybe.
About that
Atlas
botanical
is
probably.
I believe that atlases are designed to be maps of the
Yeah,
world.
that's a map. That's something to do with maps. That's
I like
not.
maps.
Well, maps of the world. Well, encyclopedias are basically like a catch-all. I think that encyclopedias are intended to be like a catch-all for information, while atlases prioritize
Isn't that like
just
what shows you the
geography.
signs on a map or something like that?
Yeah, atlases are
You mean
maps.
a legend?
Yeah, that's a legend.
Yeah.
So
Look, I was told
basically,
earlier today that us black men don't have common sense, KT. We're proving it as they're correcting us on things. So we might need to.
bro,
What you mean?
don't
We're
don't you
having
don't you dare bring
conversation.
them into this. Don't you dare
Yeah.
bring them into this. Not to my
I didn't
panel.
say
This
nothing.
this
Whoa,
No, we're not.
whoa,
this
We're
whoa.
not
See,
doing
conversation.
that.
don't
This
affect
is
my
not the channel.
cosmology. Wait, don't
No,
affect
listen
my
though.
cosmology. I'm just telling a story right now. But
Yeah,
now
chill, bro.
the question becomes, why am I telling this story, right?
So
So
when it comes
we
to
can drift into.
why,
Wait, sorry. Go, Glacier.
when it comes to a why, this is what the why of the story is. Is the bigger question of what do you want to convey, and I see why diving into a little bit of the themes, because this is also um it's also metaphysical. Like when you think about theming and the why, this is also a bit of like metaphysics, because you're trying to explore almost like themes behind why you're building it. Like for an example, one of the story concepts that I wanted to create was a conversation about nihilism, and the best way of doing so was creating a setting where it would be legitimately hopeless to live in the setting, where you have these so-called supposed deities that you worship, believe in, only to find out that the only purpose that you have to worship and believe in is so that they could use you and destroy you in the end.
Whoa, hold up. I love the conversation of nihilism because in my
Weird.
world, one of the personalities of the primary character of one of the primary protagonists, Nico Rin, one of his personalities is called Yang. He is a Shadow Force user who is his entire personality is pure nihilism. So he has a cosmology all of his own that interacts with the mass cosmology. Like his entire life goal is to erase everything that the Empress had put 3,000 years into, i.e., the planet. When he realizes that she's also the god of the planet, his new life mission became, well, now I'm going to end everything you've ever done, including this universe, since you're now the god of it. So he becomes the true essence of nihilism, strictly because he don't stop till the cops come.
Interesting. I guess for me, it's just like I got annoyed with every single person that talks about nihilism 24/7, that I wanted to create a like they when you whenever you're talking about people that believe in nihilism, they basically, I noticed that like the end goal of nihilism, nobody wants to follow through with, because you already know what that is. But I wanted to have a conversation where it's just like, okay, so you don't see any meaning in life, but you're also not trying, you don't want to go down that path. So technically, there is meaning. You do want to find meaning in life, because why are you participating?
Well,
And
since
I
this
guess
is a panel about nihilism,
I mean, this is almost like it's almost a tangent, because like I said, I wanted to create a story that has a conversation about it, how to be more productive about it. But honestly, it's just that was an old story concept. I don't even know how I feel about it at this point.
so you have a story. So would you say the why of that story is why explosions explode? Why nihilism actually is not actual nihilism, because most people aren't. It's a positive conversation or a productive conversation into the realism of nihilism. Would you say that's accurate?
Um, More so a more productive way of a more productive state of being in nihilism is
I
is
think
the
you should do
ultimate
that.
goal.
Like fried chicken?
No comment.
Have you ever burned frozen chicken?
Oh, shit.
No. Whose
Nihilism.
phone?
It
Oh my
it
gosh.
it makes you really understand nihilism. When you burn blackened frozen chicken, you realize, yeah, you know what? The world's not worth it anymore.
I have no idea. No idea what you're talking about.
Let me help you because I'm explaining why I believe in nihilism and why I made an entire character based on that nihilism that uses the shadow force in such a destructive way that people try to figure out why is he so mad. Well, one day Yang was sitting in his kitchen in his little room, and he's like, "I'm gonna fry me some chicken." He pulls the chicken out the freezer, and then he's like, "I'm gonna let it thaw out." He let it thaw out for 7 minutes. Anybody who's ever tried to make anybody who's ever done fried chicken understands that you just can't put it in a hot grease because you'll get a burned outside and then a very frozen inside. It's called burning frozen chicken. That's why Yang's a monster.
Interesting story.
My apologies, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to subjugate you to Hello Moto and shit.
You're
I got a razor though,
Wow,
so
hadn't
don't
heard
talk
that in a
shit
while.
about. Nah, I got a razor, man. Them new razors is hard, bro. I love it. It flips down. It's still a touch screen. Like I don't even open my phone half the time. Like even with me answering, I could just answer it from the flip down screen because that's touch and shit too. So
Wow, that
uh,
sounds like my friend's phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the fold. That's why they brought the folds back. They seen how well the razors are doing, and they were like, well, people obviously want smaller phones type shit. So yeah.
I mean, smaller phones means it's more compact. I don't know why they made phones like they were trying to, for a hot second, make phones as big as possible. That was crazy.
I
Why
mean,
there's
no,
so
I
many
liked
black
it that
people on this
period.
panel?
Quiet, you.
Damn, that's crazy. I love that though. I used to love the big phones. Like I had the HTC flip phone with dual screens. Fucking, yo, those shits was like laptops, like tablets on your fucking head, and I miss that shit. I could do so much on those things. I'm sorry.
So anyways, that was an old story concept, but I think I'm still gonna go with it.
You should.
It's still it's intended to be a situation where
Leon,
bro,
Leon,
that
you
is
just
rude.
you just brought somebody up. I got to
Yeah.
get you in the habit of introducing people.
Well, I'm Shay. Does he go by Leon or what?
I was talking to you, Leon.
Bitch, fuck off.
Jinx.
Can you hear me, Shay? Hello?
Yo, what's up?
There we go. How do you pronounce your name?
Zai.
Zai. Okay,
I was
sorry.
about to say it's not Shay.
I didn't know. Okay, I'm not gonna know for certain. Welcome to the panel, Zai.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
It's going.
Cool. I'm gonna. I swear. I swear. Anyways, I don't know how much of a cold opening Shadow gave gave you as a briefing, but we're still going through the process of cosmology. You wanna? Do you have a setting of your own? Do you have a setting of your own that you're working on, or what?
No, I'm just the emotional support friend.
Emotional support friend for which one?
No, I just hang out with Shadow. That's it.
There seems to be a common thread going on. Alrighty then.
Why do we
The
have so
shadow
many
life.
haters? It's not my fault people love me.
Love, as in you drag them all together with love.
Yes. Yes. It's called forceful conception.
I see. Well, but yeah, basically the idea that I have is intended to be dealing with what is it? It's not just supposed to be dealing with nihilism, but it's also supposed to be dealing with existentialism as well as absurdity. But I think I might have to just go back to that concept and rebuild it again. I've been focusing on Saima instead. But
I won't deny it. This might sound crazy to say, but I suggest this to everybody, and I really learned it from game development. But like, simplify. Sometimes like the rest of that has to be from the outside. Like you know you're gonna put it there, but you kind of don't make it a main focus, but you make it a pivotal piece, if that makes sense. Like I said, I'm starting my universe where this humanity, like society as we know it, is literally dying. Like it's no doubt about it. Like before the God freezes time, that was the whole thing. Like they were literally it was a war in the streets between like the best basic regular humans and the superpower users and the government, because the government's a big player in here too. So it just gives you like sometimes you just gotta make a setting where there you can now expound it. But like I'm gonna be honest with you, I have an end goal, but I don't really have an end point, if that makes sense also. Like the end goal is basically like to figure out what's right and what's wrong, which sounds really simplistic, but I'm making it in a way where it's like my villains aren't technically villains, right? They're more like what do they call, like anti-heroes. You know what I'm saying? And then my heroes, they're more like they're heroes undisputedly, but they're pretty fucked up people. Like they've had fucked up lives, and I spend like a lot of time kind of paralleling that into like, because these heroes here, that might kill people. They do sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But
Well, KT, let me touch on that because let's talk about Neo. Neo is Nancy and Neo are the primary protagonists or antagonists in my story. But Nancy has spent the last 3,000 years protecting Gaia. She spent the last, keep in mind, she's the one who broke it to begin with. Yeah. So she breaks it. She then forms societies. She creates a consistent war. But all of this is to have for the entire planet to love her in a way that no one else will. Because her entire thing is based on love, which most people can say that love is a overall positive faction, right?
Right. But it definitely can have its negatives.
It depends. Sure. It really depends.
What happens when you overextend love? What happens when that love becomes toxic love?
Insanity. That's really what
it becomes insanity.
Like, and not even just that. That's the thing. You gotta like. Even that's my point. With my bad guys, they're not technically, like I said, they're anti-heroes, right? So they're called their justification, quote unquote. Like I said, some of these people can like see into the future. So they're like, listen, we're killing people. Hell yeah, we're killing people. But we're killing people because if we don't, this will lead to the death of X amount of people. And since like one of the girl main powers is like future, because some of them can just go in the past, some of them can go in the future. And then that one girl, she can basically do all of that shit. But anyway, so they're showing people, that's why people are defending the anti-heroes, because they're like, well, even if they are killing people, the heroes, people are dying. Even when the heroes are trying to save everybody, they're not saving people. Sometimes they're killing people themselves. Like, what really makes them better than these guys? You get what I'm saying? So I think we always got to make something that we take as subjectively a certain way, and it like transform that for the reader. I think that's a good point of always like getting people into things. When you making people question, like, yeah, how good is love actually? Then you got these readers. You feel?
It's creating sympathy for the villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, which makes the story a little more in depth, I guess, because you're torn between I want to support the hero, but at the same time I can relate to the reasoning behind the villain's action.
Exactly. And even me, another thing we haven't talked on, but I will say I think is really pivotal that I don't think enough people focus on: character building. Like some of my art, I have so many arcs in just the beginning of my book because it's like one whole, like, I'm gonna say like 2 books. They're basically just half and half about like the side characters, where they came from, why they're doing what they're doing, and then even like, but it's kind of like flashbacks. Like in the midst of a fight, they're losing the fight, then they have this flashback of some shit that happened or whatever, just to give more like again attachment. Like I want to give my
Well,
readers attachment to every single character.
KT, think about it. I had to write 6 concurrent prequel books to explain why the main cast is as fucked up as they are throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
Like for that very same reasoning.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, that character build is essential in my opinion, but I think a lot of people don't focus on that. That's why I love Tolkien, man. Tolkien was he's a goat at that shit. It'd be somebody like Smeagol, who is like, if we're being very frank, Smeagol's damn near like a fifth party character. You know what I'm saying? He's not essential to shit for real. But you love Smeagol, and we all know who the fuck Smeagol is. You know what I'm saying?
I can understand, yeah, that in particular. I know
Hey,
that,
hey,
yeah,
I'm gonna hop off. I got things to take care of, but I'll throw in a little quick input. When it comes to character development, a lot of what people really like is when characters are very strung on their morality of whatever they deem as like righteous, and then having that worldview completely like flipped upside down. It's kind of like a Omni Man from Invincible.
Yeah, yeah,
People love that shit.
for sure, for sure.
So
people
so
love the
it's like,
struggle.
yeah, it's like the
Mhm.
internal mental struggle of like, what am I? What they have their beliefs, but then they have outside influences. Yeah,
Basically, yeah, what
influences
they're
that
contending with.
change it.
Right, seeing them morph within the story.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
you guys have a good one.
Have fun.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, because I like to mess with gothic horror, that messes with a lot of what the character believes in their own world and how they have to operate within, how they have to operate within the world that they're living in, depending on what it is. If you want to make it a tragedy, that means that that's an entirely different story. That makes it very difficult, where it's just like, the point of a tragedy is that you are watching them go through their fall. The point of it is for them to watch them go through their fall, as in they will never learn whatever lesson that it is, which I am working on with one character, which is Darius, who ends up having he is he starts off as a king as a young age, becomes a king at a young age, but over time he he ends up having to go to war and spends his early years going to war and setting up the kingdom that his father had established. After he manages to set it up and he grows older, a lot of the people that were with him throughout the wars, they were significantly older than him. And that as they passed on, the younger generation came in and they're not used to Darius's style of governance, to the point where they are more politically focused. They are not straightforward as Darius wants, and it gets to be a point of contention where he just abdicates the throne and has somebody else take over so that he could focus on different endeavors, which is particularly magic. He becomes a headmaster for a while, builds up in a magical academy, um, and works there so that he could explore how to make the best war wizard, which is a doctrine or a practice that he created. But in that obsession, he kept on trying to provoke and push the boundaries of his students until one of the students dies. So the school and academy that he had built up and had been running for almost well over a decade, he ends up being forced to leave because of the controversy that had happened because of one student dying. Ever since then, he realized that he ended up having an obsession with war because his bloodline and lineage continues, because his race is magical, as in he's not affected by time. So even though his body ages, his body will de-age if he's ever experiencing mortal danger. So when he leaves the Magical Academy, he eventually creates a war band, and he constantly stays at war, fighting 24/7 just so that he can maintain his mortality
I
as a
like
way
that.
of running away from death.
I like that.
Basically, he has several students all throughout the way. He has one student after another, and he basically pushes them until they either they break, they rebuke him, or he leads them to their death. One of them ends up turning into a vampire, but it's his obsession with making the perfect war wizard is why he continues to do it, as he also tries to run away from death. He wants to create a legacy, but he also doesn't want to let it go.
Mm. And I
So
like that. This sounds like some low key berserker shit. Like
it
he's the
is.
Griffith in this situation. I ain't going, and I like that type shit. See, that's the thing about even my world personally. Like it's so fucked up around it. That's another thing that adds to them like hero, anti villain, whatever. Like your like or dislike of things because the world around is fucked up. I made that pretty evident in my world. Like I don't know if y'all heard of like I'm a deep video game head. Also, if you haven't seen by now, but I don't know if you guys ever heard or played this game called Kenshi. But if you haven't, like look it up. The whole concept is like you're not the chosen one. You're not. You're literally nothing. Like matter of fact, to be honest with you, in the beginning of the game, you're probably gonna take like 10 steps, and something's gonna beat your ass, and then they probably gonna enslave you. And then you have to real life spend your time in the game, like getting strong enough to where you
It's
can fight
personal.
against. Huh? My
What?
bad.
What?
I don't know. I thought Shadow was saying something.
No, I thought he said somebody took 10 steps and got enslaved. And I was like, oh, that character must have been black.
No, all that's the like
Fucking
that's the whole
ridiculous.
thing in this game. Like everyone's enslaved. Everyone's a slave, but minus certain people, and that means you're strong. It basically it's like a primal hierarchy. Which me personally, like I'm not saying that's the real world, but I think like if we're being bare minimum, that would be something that's kind of real world. So I think like making worlds like that again, it's like appealing. I think for people you have to give them something they already understand. Like we saying religion earlier, people pick these books up simply off the point of religious points, right? Like they may make a whole new religion off these shits in real life. But
Well, we're talking cosmology, right? Do you think the why of the characters is important to readers? Like what? Like
yeah,
think about the
that's why I said the
MCU, right?
character. That's why I said the
Right,
character building is essential.
right. Like think about the MCU. Let's talk about Thanos specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
People can understand why Thanos did what he did.
For
Wait,
sure.
which version of the story?
I said
I'm about to say
MCU
because
niggas.
if you talk, you talking
Oh
about
my gosh.
so MCU clarifies that is the cinematic. We're talking about the movies here. He ain't
Okay,
talking about
yes,
the
yes,
comic books
cinematic.
and shit.
Got
'cause
it, got
that,
it, got
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Because that the actual comic books was a
I
radically
about to say
different
Thanos.
story.
Yeah. Thanos was
Why do you think I said?
Deadpool was funny for real. I ain't gonna lie. He used to fuck Thanos up about death and shit. Like I'm not saying Thanos wasn't that guy, but
But he was.
yeah, he
All I have to
was. Yeah.
say that I'll be honest, when I listened to Thanos' reasoning as to why he wanted to do it, I saw it as the stupidest shit ever.
No, it was too simplistic. Like
No,
if you like you said, in terms of the comics comparing to the movies, I agree with you 100%. That just don't. It was too simplistic of a thing for Thanos. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I guess in a movie sense, I can't lie because I do love the movies.
I mean, I guess for me, it's just
Well,
it
the
was
end game
promoting
was.
it was promoting a very specific narrative where it's just like there's a that we're running out of resources, everybody's going to die. How do I fix this problem? Snap, have the population. Okay, great job. Half the population, you have destroyed the infrastructure of each and every world that you have built in. You know what actually makes what actually causes raises more production? More people. It's just like this is no, fucking stupid Thanos. You are fucking stupid.
No, now here goes back in. We can tie this back into the conversation we've been having. Now here's a major problem everyone knows about the MCU. It's the continuity. The shit is like so random sometimes and just even right now, how the latest villain went from fucking Kang to Doom. Like they're
Wait,
now
what?
acting. Yeah, you know they're not doing Kang no more. They
I
doing they.
stopped watching after Endgame.
Oh yeah, no. So if you after Endgame, the beginning into the next part, which is now where they're getting into, right? Well, it was with Loki and that TV show he had where he was running like the time thing. I can't remember what the fuck TVA or something like that, right? Well,
Yeah, Loki.
yeah, Loki. Oh yeah, that was what the show was called. It was Loki. But yeah,
It was yeah.
he was running the TVA, him and Kang. It shows even how Kang became Kang and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then that shit happened with Jonathan Majors. So they were like, regardless of him being found not guilty or whatever, they still said like, we're not giving the shit back to you. So now they brought back
Well, that's a Disney
Robert.
contract thing, no.
Nah, that ain't whatever.
No,
Neither
no,
here
no.
nor there.
Hold up. No. Hear me out. Disney has a clause in its like I've had a Disney contract before. Disney has a clause that if you've even been accused of a major felony, they have to remove you based on Disney's character model. That's a whole thing. Have you not noticed that the only felon, the only felon in actual Disney history that kept his job consistently was Robert Downey Jr.
I was about
Everyone
to
else has
say
been
that's what
terminated.
and I was about to say that's what I was about to say. They literally got rid of not got rid of him, but since they said they're not bringing him back, the new villain is Robert Downey Jr. They're
Hold on,
making Doom Robert Downey.
but hold on, Robert Downey Jr. is also the core of the MCU. It was part of the MCU prior to Disney acquisition. So his contract is actually what saved him as Iron Man, and because nobody else would have took the role.
Nah, man, they just brought back
How
Jonathan.
did
You
we
can make
go
an
from
exception.
Iron Man to Doom?
I'm not caring enough about Disney, man.
We're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about cosmology.
Nah, it's
I
terrible
know, but you're also
cosmology.
you're dragging in Disney. Disney is just like,
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
cool with
Does
that, and
Disney
that's
have
why
a
I point out
cosmology?
Disney has terrible
Really?
cosmology. Nobody likes
But
no Disney. They fucked up every universe they gain. People are mad at the MCU because the continuity is ass again. Like Firefly just said, how you go from fucking Kang to Doom? Nigga, this is crazy. And then you got the Star Wars. People forget they own Star Wars now. And let's be honest, we all hate Star Wars now because they brought
It's
back
ran by a
Palpatine
woman.
and fucking. Like it, no, it's not even a Jedi woman. It's brought back Palpatine.
Whoa,
That
yeah, she wasn't
alone,
the problem. Ray actually
Woman
had
is
a
the
pretty
problem.
okay. So
like, no,
The
Ray was a
woman is the
problem because where the
problem.
fuck did you come from? That's the problem with Ray. That's the problem. It's the
Ray
lack of
was
continuity.
Palpatine's granddaughter.
No,
No.
Ray was a weak ass character. Ray was a weak ass character. She
She's
should have never
definitely a weak
existed.
ass
No,
character
she
too.
was a
But
weak
I'm just
Jedi.
saying,
Different.
No,
in
she was a
terms of the
weak
story
character.
already explained, listen, they should have picked the character out of the story already explained, but they made
Should have
Ray
made use of
really.
Flynn.
Yeah, something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, but what they did was they made Ray, and that's what makes the fucking Disney cosmology fucking terrible, bro. The shit sucks. It's no continuity. It's like, hey, what's gonna get people talking? Does this make sense to the story that already happened? Not really. But fuck it. It'll make people talk. Bring back Palpatine. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
would never forgive anyone for this. Like that's
it
the
was
He's
so
terrible
already
it was just
story.
a
back.
lame
Now,
ass
why are we bringing him
story.
back? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It was a lame ass gimmicks just so that they
Think
could get
y'all
as
missed
many
my
spots into their fucking seats because they
guys.
have
Wait,
nothing creative.
I can't
Yeah.
believe I'm about to be this guy. But we need to get back on topic. And the reason you have to understand, I brought up that topic for a reason. Because we're talking about cosmology, correct?
I just told you this is on topic. The cosmology of the MC
Sarai,
Disney
I
is
need you to calm down.
ass. Disney's fucking cosmology is fucking ass. It's no continuity. Again,
I second this.
still in.
No, I agree.
Oh, God, I hate black
second
people.
this. But he has a point. It is ass. We don't use you don't use television as a way of guiding people whatsoever. No, absolutely not.
So we're going to get back to topic, which is supposed to be Glacier's job.
What the fuck? It's just like, how come you don't sound ghetto on AVG and Confluence panels? Glacier is just like, I sound ghetto now? Since
I
when?
told you.
When did I sound
No,
shut up.
okay.
Sound
Look,
ghetto.
no. Hold up. Hear me out. It's
What?
Nigronomics.
No, oh
Hold
my
up.
god.
Hold
Not
on.
this shit again.
Oh
Oh my
Look,
Lord,
gosh.
you didn't understand it the first time I gave it to you. So, and now somebody's
Oh
trying to
my
confirm it to
gosh.
you.
Oh my
When there's
god.
one black person on panel, because keep in mind, look at what happens when you go to the Wildest Wake Up Show. All of a sudden, you're absolutely ratchet the whole time. You know
What
why?
is, I don't even know the
Nigronomics.
definition of that. I don't even know the definition of ratchet at this point. Fuck it. I don't care. I
Well,
just don't care.
apparently, wait, so do you believe that there's no such thing as a ratchet woman?
You
There's
talking about
always such
say
thing
get
as a
back on
ratchet
topic,
woman.
and this what you did.
Hold up.
Yes,
What? No.
he's the
Now,
Walmart,
now
once
let me.
again.
Okay,
this
now let me get back on.
entire
Let me
panel
let me
Nasty
get back
work.
on topic
about
now.
economics. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we'll get back on topic then, since y'all want to be hypocrites.
Damn straight.
Whenever you look at it from its true perspective, right? If you actually look at the
Thank you, Penny.
cosmology, if you look at the cosmology of the MCU, as the cosmology of like Sanderson's Cosmere, as the cosmology of the Hunger Games, as the cosmology of the Divergent series, at the cosmology of the like, as look at any major series, look at the cosmology behind it. You still have to break down why this story matters. And regardless if you like Disney or not, regardless if you like the way they do their cosmology is actually fairly simplistic. Even though they try to add a whole bunch of extra nonsense in there in order to, because it's a money making machine, you still have to realize everything Disney touches, whether good or bad, still makes money, except for Snow White, but we don't talk about that.
No, listen,
Barely
White.
makes
hold up,
money.
hold
It's
up.
lowbrow shit.
Hold on.
Lowbrow shit.
Wait a minute,
Listen,
but
hold up,
does
hold up. Make
does
it
the
no.
lowbrow hold on? Does the lowbrow shit change the fact that it's an effective cosmology?
No, it's not. It
It's
doesn't
not
make
effective
money.
cosmology. It's
It doesn't.
lowbrow.
Yeah, and it doesn't make money either. Like
I told you.
the shit
Endgame,
literally.
Endgame is still is the second highest
They
grossing movie in
bought the
history.
most popular series of every type of series, and then said, "We're going to make more movies." You're not making money because it's good product. You bought the most pop, which you can't do. No offense. We talk. That's what. Even when we talk about like things to brainstorm, we really shouldn't bring in companies that move in that manner because they're moving as businesses can move, which we can't. Because they can just pay for everything. They don't listen. Endgame is not like one of the most sold superhero movies ever because who the fuck is the competition? The DCU?
Yes.
Oh, exactly. That's not a sarcastic thing. I mean that literally.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
What?
Like, you like DCU makes terrible movies.
Every single
Yeah,
time.
but
Disney.
DCU makes terrible movies because they don't have any continuity to maintain them. Yes,
Yeah.
Because
the
their
only good.
cosmology is
Bro,
trash.
hold on. I didn't even finish talking, bro. I'm just saying.
Jesus.
You don't you fucking interrupt me. Don't you fucking interrupt me. The only good strategy that Marvel pulled off, that Marvel pulled off, is that Disney bought the cinematic rights to the Marvel company. That means that Disney was able to maintain continuity so that there could be connections between the universes, which means that they could establish a good universe. Unfortunately, because it is also Hollywood adjacent, they have 20 million fucking writers going through the damn transcripts, but none of them, not a single fucking one of them, knows how to write when you get past Endgame.
Pause. So again, because apparently we all have the attention span of gerbils, I'm going to bring up the points I just made again. Because you told me to stop and let you finish, and I did. And do you know what you actually ended up saying? Disney sucks post Endgame. Now, let me explain this. Shang-Chi actually ranked up. Spider-Man No Way Home is the highest grossing Marvel movie ever.
I mean, well, you're talking
Hold on,
about
it's post
Spider-Man.
Endgame.
You're talking about
Sony.
Spider. You're talking
it-
about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a different beast.
That's Sony. No, that's Sony though too. That's not Disney. That's Sony. And
Okay.
and be very
Actually,
frank.
He's
that's still
right.
MCU.
No, he's right. KT is right. KT is
I'm saying
right.
it is MCU, but you gotta understand, Sony, that's their bread and fucking butter.
It's
You see, they
Disney,
tried to
Sony,
start
though.
the Spider
Hold
Verse.
on,
Hold
it was
on.
They
Disney,
Hold
movies
though.
on.
outside the Spider Verse was terrible.
This is getting in, okay. This is getting into legalistic things because basically, the only thing that Marvel Cinematic Universe, like Disney wasn't able to purchase was Spider-Man and X-Men. They were
They just got
negotiating partial
X-Men.
rights. Okay, so they got X-Men, but the issue was that for the longest time they that was major IPs for Fox, so they didn't have that. Wait, who the fuck
Hold
is
on,
posted?
we are talking cosmology. Like, I understand where y'all. I brought
I'm
these
saying
up for a
change.
reason.
I'm bringing a Spider-Man change in
You what you
cosmology because it's a
shit,
different
man.
company.
Hold on, Glacier, breathe.
No.
Yes, I need you to breathe.
Okay, what's up?
So listen to where I'm coming from in regards to the topic that we're talking about. Even Spider-Man No Way Home, which had a different IP, was still following the continuity and expanded the MCU's overall reach by including and expanding the Spider-Man story into other IPs, including Venom, which has nothing to do with the MCU. So what I'm saying
Not the
is,
Black Hebrew
whenever
Israelite.
Who is these? What the fuck?
what?
Never mind. Anywho, I don't like using movies as a baseline for cosmology because movies are dealing with a lot of things in the back door where they will be quick to break whatever cosmology that they have established for the purposes of whatever financial troubles
Yeah,
that they're dealing
time
with.
slide
The
also.
writing quality might differ as well as the engagement that they want to have. They have so many problems that hinder the creative process where it ends up being not worth it to actually use as a jumping off point. It's just
Yeah,
I know that
I believe only way you could use something like that is like animes or cartoons and shit.
What?
Like, but when we talk
manga.
about live action, it never, because it's a bigger time constraint. Like again, like animes and cartoons, you can spend a whole season, whatever somebody wrote, giving that life. When you talk about a
Cosmology.
movie, yeah, it comes in different
Wait.
things from different people.
Wait, you know what? I know how I'm gonna test this.
What?
Give me an anime that both of y'all know.
An anime?
Yes.
Full Metal.
Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah.
I mean, I read manga more than I watch.
Okay,
So
that's fine. Give me. You're being super specific right now, Glacier. You know that would still qualify.
no, there's 2 series, and I didn't watch Full Metal Alchemist.
What,
Nah,
are you talking
I
for
read
Metal
mangas
Jacket?
too. We cool, both. I know both. Brotherhood and
Let's go with
Well,
Brotherhood because there's more consistency since it stayed with the mangaka.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Niggas can't
Deal
stand
with,
words.
deal with it. Deal with it.
Why am I being the responsible one?
I mean,
I
you're the
don't
one
even
that
like this
talked about
role.
it.
Okay, so hold on. So think about the cosmology. I'm going to ask both y'all, what is the cosmology of Full Metal Alchemist?
Alchemy in itself. Alchemy in itself and understanding the equivalent exchange.
Yeah, law of equivalent exchange, alchemy itself in the universe. Like, what is the truth? I guess you could say in the sense.
Okay, so while both of you are right, both of you have minimized what Full Metal Alchemist was actually about. Full Metal Alchemist cosmology, by definition, is not only understanding equivalent exchange and the law of alchemy, but the journey of two brothers as they go through it, their actual ups and downs, how they actually impact the overall political, social political, and religion of that entire planet in 2 different timelines. This is what I was trying to bring up before. We're
Wait. What are you
simplifying.
talking about? 2 different timelines.
again, since you never saw the final movie, they actually
Final
get sent.
movie is non-canon.
Says who?
It's non-canon. Read the freaking manga.
I have.
We said Brotherhood for a reason.
Niggas. You know what? We're going to Naruto now because I'm gonna find something y'all can't argue. I'm going to something y'all can't argue.
Oh my god!
And I know everybody on this panel right now knows Naruto.
Oh my god!
Every single person. Explain the cosmology of Naruto.
The cosmology of Naruto, its sources of how chakra was basically supplanted into the world. That is the quickest summary that I could think of, honestly. But it all comes down
Chakra
to
use and manifestation, like how
yes,
different tribes go about different ways of utilizing their power, politics
pretty
and
much.
shit like that. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's nothing you can
Firefly,
make.
cosmology of Naruto.
Yeah, put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, speak up more.
Well, the thing is I'm still watching it, so I haven't completed it. But to me, yeah, it's basically like they're saying, it's about chakra, how to use it, how they're coming about their powers. And it's about, to me, I'm seeing a lot of, they're growing into the being selfless, to helping others, to using it for good, so, or trying to.
Okay, so
This is
the
okay.
cosmology of the Naruto universe is a single infinite universe that contains multiple space-time continuum. It is modeled after our own scales, and its primary universe contains all known shinobi nations, hidden leaf, and the events of the main series, and how they impact both the main characters, side characters, and characters that are not explicitly named. Naruto, one of the reasons why Naruto became one of the big threes is characters that are not very known, like characters that you just pass by, have a story of their own. Hey, all of these stories, all these characters, even when they're not important characters, directly impact how readers, how viewers, and how the characters in the story move in the future.
Well, that's having a layered setting. I mean, yeah, that's a part of cosmology, but it's layered setting. KT, your audio.
Is it bad?
There's I don't know what you're doing with the mic, but there's bleed through. It stopped now.
Like static.
Yeah. It's gone now, so I think it's fine. I'll let you know if it shows up again. That's okay. So, I mean, technically, yes, that's a part of cosmology, but that goes into the more minutia of a setting when we're trying to talk about more about foundational, more foundational aspects of the setting.
That's my point. That is foundational.
No.
This is where we are all we're talking the same story, but walking at different paths. When I wrote the Gaia Chronicles the first time, I did a very basic understanding of what happened. Again, I didn't even create the religion for the person who is the Jesus of my story. But the reason why it didn't make sense come book 5 is why are these random titans fighting against this lady? Is it just because they've been tortured for the last 3,000 years? No, there's an actual reason. And the reason is because she's responsible for the death of one of the main character's twin sisters. And he spends the next 7 books planning on how to kill the person that he loves, Ma. So then you have to explain why that relationship would matter to a reader. The cosmology isn't just the basis of the the pseudoscience of your world. It's what your world is and why I should care. Why should I be involved in the universe
Oh,
that you're giving me?
hold on. That's two conflations because what you're talking about is the actual story in itself, not the cosmology. The story in itself is your character, what did you say his name was? Neo, taking down a goddess. That's basically what you're saying is like your story, the entire narrative, the through line of that entire series is Neo taking down the goddess
Well,
for what
Nico
she
taking
had.
down Neo, but
Okay,
why?
Nico taking down of Neo.
What? But why is he doing it?
Um, because of his sister passing. That is still the through line of the story. That doesn't
Yeah,
make it
but
cosmology.
Hold
yeah,
on.
the
Why is she
cosmology is the
even in the
universe that
position
they
to
set
do it?
in.
I mean, okay, that again, that is still the through line. That is still a through line of the narrative rather than the cosmology.
Which is
When
relevant to cosmology because it's relevant to the story that you're telling. This is where me and you differ on our definitions of cosmology. Because my definition of cosmology has to include all of this. When I took Sanderson's little world
oh
building
wait,
course,
you're making me two levels of confused right now.
okay,
So
and I'm fine with deconfusing you.
yes, because it's almost driving me up a wall because how I see cosmology is that it's the foundation of a setting. You can make several stories within the foundations of a setting because what you have are the bricks of the story. But when you
Yeah,
have like a through line of the story, that is a that is the that could be an entire series, but that can't but I wouldn't call it a cosmology because you can take that narrative, pick it up, and move it into another setting.
Why okay, number one, why is your character doing what they're doing and how are they doing what they're doing?
That goes into storytelling. That
Hold on,
immediately goes into storytelling.
pause. Why is your character doing what they're doing and how are they doing it?
Okay, so again, this can be setting specific though.
Okay.
I'm telling you that when you answer those two questions, it gets to be setting, it can be very setting specific, and you can have similar narratives in different books. I mean, we like what is it called? The hero's journey. The hero's journey is so foundationally simplistic, but you can pick up that narrative and find that narrative in several different stories all throughout um all throughout history. It's why it was called the hero's journey. um because like it explains the what and the why when it comes to when you make it character specific. You want to go into the foundations. You're saying
So,
that
what is
this
the
goes
cosmology of a hero's journey?
the no, no.
yeah, that's not a possible thing.
But
The
that's
cosmology is
why I
the
keep trying to stop
foundation. It's
y'all.
the stage.
It's the
That hold on.
world that you're
I
putting that
y'all are
story
talking
in.
past me because we're trying to be right. I'm asking y'all to think about what I'm saying right now.
I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm saying that cosmology is a layer beneath the story, beneath the series. It's something far more
Yeah,
foundational.
Arkham City is cosmology. I mean, yeah, cosmology. You know what
No,
I'm saying? Yeah,
the
like
Batman universe or Batman's rules or Batman's regulation is the cosmology. Arkham City is the story inside of that cosmology. That's what Glacier is saying.
whoa, no, you're saying the reverse of that because that's not
Right.
what that that's
What
not what that
what
is.
no, what I'm saying is what is Gotham? What makes Gotham Gotham?
Gotham
That's
is a setting.
huh?
Gotham would be classified as a setting. The
No, hold on.
cosmology,
Well, Hold up. Listen to what we see. We all need to follow the same thread of conversation real quick.
But I'm trying to tell, if you're going to use comic books as an example, the cosmology would be the universe strain that that the story is from. Because I'm sorry, like the when it comes to comic books, they get so convoluted because they have a multiverse theory. Um, whatever the specific story is from, you have to find what universe it is from to understand what the cosmology is, because it's being whatever narratives are being written is based upon that universe's lore and and thematic tension that it's going through. I'm better off using Marvel, where at one point in time during the 2012 to 2015 era, they had the Marvel universe, they had the Ultimate Universe and then the main universe. If anybody remembers that. I think I forgot what the barcode was between the two. Where the Ultimate Universe, it was intended to be a significantly more grittier story as a baseline, as opposed to the mainline universe where all the stories were, but they kept on switching and repeating the like resetting the entire setting over and over again. So when we're talking about cosmology, we're literally talking about what the foundations of the world is intended to be.
Right.
So it's more
So-
about like what's governing what you created.
Yes.
Okay. So there's literary and scientific cosmology. What y'all have been describing is scientific cosmology. This is how the world works, and this is why we're using the phrase cosmology. But hold on, like in Hollow Man, there's an actual like the cosmology of Hollow Man is the story of the man in the forest and how he impacts that entire story. The
I don't know
cosmology
what
of Hollow Man
Man
is the story, huh?
I don't know what Hollow Man is.
It's a poet by T.S. Eliot. See, if you're going to hide stuff from black people, just hide it in the book.
The fuck? Because I feel like we're crossing over between cosmologies and then thematic tensions. Like a little bit. And honestly, it almost does feel that way when it comes to cosmology because like I said earlier, like I said earlier, part of the definition of cosmology is actually referencing what is the metaphysics of your book. Like how does your world operate and stuff like that? How is the setting built up? And what do you want to establish with the setting that you are building up? So
Facts. I would say world and physics.
essentially, I mean, basically in a sense. But yeah, it's one of those things where cosmology is so it's so fucking complicated, but it is supposed to be the foundation of the setting that you're trying to build. Once you establish the foundation of what you're building, you can build a lot of different things with it. I know that a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people over expand without taking the time to figure out how does everything connect.
Well, like I said, I think if you put it into true perspective, cosmology is supposed to be expansive, especially in this day and age where we actually have people breaking down how come Goku, while going Super Saiyan 3, was able to shake a mountain on the other side of the planet. And then breaking down the gravity of how that actually works to put a finite power scale on it.
That is because Akira Toriyama was making a wuxia during Dragon Ball and then shifted it over to Zeisha afterwards.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Akira, he's probably the worst continuity anime's ever seen. I'm sorry. Like,
Hey, I'm sending you a
not
cash.
a
I'm
fan.
sending you a chime real quick. We're kicking Casey.
Yo, do what you gotta do. I'm
No,
stand
bro.
on this shit. It
No,
is what
do
it is.
not send that chime. You were saying K2?
Nah, he can send that because I'm gonna keep it hot. Atora is terrible with continuity, bro.
Oh no, that
Gohan,
is he
well,
has a reputation of having a goldfish memory. We cannot deny that.
yes, he just makes shit on the fly, and it really frustrates me because Gohan is like nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Gohan's power scaling kept on changing.
You know what I'm saying? Like he went from the only guy who could, hey, I'm gonna kill myself because you can handle this with ease. I'm out. To being fucking
Goku.
Hercule Junior type shit, being fucking Saiyan man and shit. Like, man, come on, get this shit out of here.
Dear Lord. It's been so long since I touched Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, but that's childhood. That is childhood all over it.
But we can talk.
Yeah, that in
But
One Piece.
Dragon Ball had a plot that we could follow if you look at it all the way through, right?
Well, I
A
believe
really
that
terrible one. It
it
was that Goku was a bad fucking dad and he just likes fighting a lot. Like if we
Wait,
just
was
keeping
that
this
the
shit
plot
real.
of Dragon Ball though?
Pretty much. Pretty
the
much.
focus of the focus of Dragon Ball was mainly Goku, and it was pantsed the fuck out of. That is the truth. Just saying. Like I love Dragon
Explain.
Ball. I love
Yeah,
Dragon Ball for what it is, but Dragon Ball's focus point was always Goku. You
yeah,
do
and
not
it's
have
literally
Dragon
him
Ball
just having
without
the
Goku.
yeah, it's just him having the hardest possible fight. That's literally the only concept of Dragon Ball. It's terrible to be honest. It's far too simplistic. It's just that the
It's
timing
based
on Dragon
upon
Ball was beautiful.
it's based upon it is based upon a how do I describe it? A
Journey
genre.
to the
Hold,
East.
hold on. Yes, it's a genre. Wuxia and Zeisha. So the best way of describing it is that it is intended to be a combat focused narrative where the character basically fights and fights and fights until they become very powerful and equal to that. Well, for Wuxia, it's equal to that of a deity, something divine. When you go from when you're talking about Zeisha, which is exactly what Dragon Ball goes through with Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. It breaks from being Wuxia to Zeisha, and Zeisha starts off as a deitic level of power level and goes into cosmic power levels where they're destroying planets. It is a Chinese genre of literature.
Which and it has actually just become the entire style of the shonen style now. Like
Well,
that's why
not entirely.
Hell
Uh,
nah.
hold
no.
on. See, you just asked me to be calm and let you finish. And then I did, and once I started, you surrounded me. I
Okay,
got
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can name 10 series right now where the character starts out weaker and then grows to a planetary threat because it has become a staple of the shonen style. Shonen has actually become tenacity. It's the story of tenacity through uh, opposition. It's become the staple of the shonen style, which is fine. But because it has its style now, even the book I'm writing, it's a shonen style fantasy. They're going to go through adversaries and they're going to go through things, and their threats are going to get higher and higher and higher because ultimately they're trying to take down God. And at the level that they start at, they should have been wiped out beforehand. But while you go through that growth, you go through that adversity. Your plots become based in that adversity. The way you pivot in to make sure you can still reach your goal. I think all of that is necessary in your storyboarding. Done.
Okay. Okay. So, I told you that the difference between Wuxia and Zeisha are actually are two different things. Wuxia endgame is deity level. Zeisha beginning levels is deity levels, and then you expand to cosmic. And that's what is different. A lot of shonen manga tend to stay at depending on depending on the shonen, they usually tend to stay on the planetary level, not nearly as gods, as to the extent of what Dragon Ball Z does. But then again, I don't watch nearly as many anime. But then again, I don't, not that
Nah,
I don't watch that many anime, but I don't really care too much on Azasia style storytelling. I see it as it's too expansive, and you don't need it to be expansive to have a good and meaningful plot. It's more so uh it, it it connects better with certain demographics. Did you want to say something, Shadow?
Yes. Do you think that those two things are micros and macros of each other?
When you say, what do you mean by micros versus macros?
So, My Hero Academia, Deku fights Bakugo at the beginning of the series, right? They're still pretty
Right.
like street level, maybe upper city level power scaling, right? By the end, they're fighting the guy who literally gave the world quirks.
That
So,
would be still a wuxia.
uh,
yeah,
hold
'cause
on.
that's still
He's fighting the
planetary.
god of their world.
That's
Awful
still
one.
planetary.
Hold on. Awful one. Anyway, now we move to Bleach, who was fighting kids in the schoolyard to fighting Yahweh. Literally.
So Bleach
So
is a
hold on.
different. Oh,
Mm, The reason I'm poking at these specifically is because even if you look at people who start uh, planetary in Universal, it's the same scaling style as people who start city and end planetary. Like it's a micro and macro of the same story. They just are scaled at completely different levels, but their scaling still follows the same progressive state. Do you see what I
okay.
mean?
What you're talking about is power scaling in general, and power scaling can be radically different. No, don't look at me like that. That is what you're talking about. Power scaling is something that exists in every story. How
I'm not
to
talking about
actually
power
measure. Yes,
scaling.
yes, you are talking about power
No, I'm
scaling.
not.
Yes, you are.
I'm
You are
talking about,
absolutely talking about power
I'm
scaling.
making a comparative analysis to those power
But
scaling.
it's okay, but I'm telling you that the to compare My Hero Academia to Bleach, those are two radically different things because of like the context of what they are. I know that you want to say that that character, that the end game for My Hero Academia is supposed to be technically quote unquote god of that setting. No, technically not. When I say wuxia, the end game is literally a divine being. That is end game for a wuxia novel. Technically, Deku was still fighting somebody that was human. He was still human at the end of the day. He was very powerful, but he was still going to be constrained by the world that he was living in. Bleach, on the other hand, I'd never finished Bleach. It
Hold
wasn't
on.
my cup of tea.
Awful
He,
One literally he literally went through soul realms to connect to other bodies. Like he was actually multiversal in his spiritual moving. Like he literally is a 4D character. Hold on, but even that we're missing what I'm actually saying, and I realize it's probably my fault.
No, he's not.
So, huh?
No, he's not.
How so?
He was never a 4D character. He didn't go through no dimension phases. Like he
we
didn't. He just de-aged. That's the closest godlike thing we could say, but that's why I keep saying it's planetary because even if you want to say he's the god of the world, that's still planetary. We
he's still
ain't now
constrained.
fighting him. Yeah, we ain't now beating him. And you see how it even happened afterwards. There was no damn near enemy after they beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like shit still happened, but there was nobody on that scale that came after him. So like,
Actually, I might be able to use a comparison because this is still like a conversation about power scaling. When you go into One Piece, you can see how crazy a lot of the characters are. They seem very, very powerful, but at the end of the day, nobody comes close to destroying the planet. The only one that can come close to destroying the planet would have to be Whitebeard with his earthquake ability. And what does he do? He creates earthquakes out of whatever destination. Even his wildest earthquakes can shake the planet and cause tectonic plates to shift, tsunamis over islands, and everything of that nature. But it doesn't destroy the planet in itself.
So we're
And
gonna ignore Kaido,
hold
right?
on, huh?
So we're gonna ignore Kaido.
Kaido is transforms into a dragon, but he's his powers are still very powerful. But even when it came to comparing power level, like how powerful they are, Kaido doesn't have that reactive ability that Shirohige has. You understand like the ripple effects of an earthquake, right? Which
Yeah.
it was actually demonstrated in the manga that every time he shifted the plan, shifted and used his abilities, several different destinations throughout One Piece also were dealing with the ripple effects of his seismic abilities. Kaido, very powerful, but it was also still self-contained within Wano. And if we're being honest, Kaido, by the time, like, if you were to like you were to compare Whitebeard and Kaido when they were both alive, like as in Whitebeard as almost 80 years old, Kaido probably would be more powerful than Whitebeard. But the ripple effects that that Shirohige had was significantly stronger. Sorry, I keep on switching names. I'm used to reading in Japanese. um,
Okay. So the reason why I'm bringing this micro and macro is I realize it's still not. So, and I brought up All For One for a particular reason, because a lot of people don't realize how a 4D and 5D character actually work by definition of what 4D and 5D literary characters are. And this is important for cosmology. So, All For One is considered 4D for a particular
what is
reason.
4D? What is 4D?
So,
You have to
hold
break
up.
down what 4D characters are and what 5D characters are because I'm getting lost again.
Yes, well, host, thank you for asking the question. And now I will expand on that. A 4D character is a four-dimensional in their impact, basically, meaning that they're not just a one-dimensional villain. They're not just complex in their world setting, but they actually are multi-layered figures within the depth and the history of that world. So what they do is they impact not just the generation of heroes and villains that they're in, but they actually have sway both directions, right? So their story transcends the depth of the story that's being told, i.e., the narrative that we're being told at the time.
Wait, as in by their existence, because this sounds like any historical figure.
Yes. One Fall was over a century old. I think he was like 230 or something.
Who?
Awful one. I'm going
Oh,
back to
All
my
For One. Okay,
yeah.
all for one. So basically, you're talking about the ripple effects of one character.
Right. He became a multi-dimensional personality because he not only affected the people who were actually in that world, but he impacted the spirit world, i.e., the dimension outside of life. He actually transcended their world on multiple occasions. That's what made him a 4D character to begin with. I'm not going
Oh.
to say he's a 5D character because that takes a little more.
Okay, so now I'm getting a bit confused. I want to know the distinction because technically we're talking about the ripple effects of somebody's actions. Do they have to be alive to do this? Do they have to be consistently alive when the narrative starts? Or no? Or no?
Technically, they could.
They could, so they don't need to be alive. So
Right.
technically,
But direct impact.
hold on,
Okay.
because technically, like for an example, Henry VIII would technically be a 4D character for real life because his actions created a ripple effect for the Protestant movement because on top of like apart from like the printing press and everything, he provided a location for Protestants to congregate in while the rest of Europe was trying to close it down. He was instrumental in actually giving the Protestant movement a lot of strength. Would you consider him to be a 4D character in our world?
Okay, that's fair.
Would you?
Uh, in our world, yes.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make sense of what you're trying to say. So basically,
I
it is
had to think about Henry VIII a little bit, and I had to see about what you were saying.
so all throughout the European world was predominantly Catholicism, and you couldn't really establish your power as a monarch without the respect of the Catholic Church. Henry VIII had enough popularity to separate himself from the Catholic Church and then created the Church of England. That was the first Protestant church to be recognized on a technically world stage. That has never happened ever throughout European history. Henry VIII was the first one. He might have been the only one as well. During that time period, the Protestant the Protestant Reformation was gaining a lot of traction, but it only started happening when the Gutenberg was being created because it was quickly able to be assembled as well as dismantled so that they could constantly move and print out books. So basically, with England being a Protestant stronghold, it allowed a lot of Protestants to be able to essentially congregate and also not deal with too much persecution when it came to the Catholic Church probably denouncing them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Henry he transcends time, but he doesn't necessarily transcend space. He's still very specific to us.
So wait. When you say transcend space, what do you mean?
Like he's not going extra dimensional. Like his story,
So wait, it has to be extra dimensional?
technically,
Technically, okay. So
in literary terms.
I mean, now you're adding another term where it's just confusing me again. So what you're talking about now
Reset.
is
Let's reset because I realize I'm not making it any easier, and I think I need to come up with a better synopsis so I can explain it better. Because when I was taught it, yeah,
I think
I
ABG
am
has a point.
shifting the goalpost.
I'm trying to make sense of what you're trying to say. I'm genuinely am because I mean we haven't gotten to like 40, but there's a difference because what you're trying to compare when it comes to One for All, he might have a lot of power, but it's still not to the level of a essentially a god for the setting. He is still constrained by the setting itself.
Was he constrained by life?
I mean, he was still aging, right?
Wait, hold
He
on.
might have been able to bounce through different personalities, but he still was capable of being weakened, right?
Yes, because he still
Okay.
had certain rules that he had. I mean, he
Right,
was
he's
still
limited by the law of the world,
He's
which is
limited
part
by
of
the
the
law of the
cosmology.
world, yes.
does that. sh- Wait, what? So that
He is limited by the laws of the world. The part of what makes wuxia wuxia is that the end game is a deity, as in the protagonist of a wuxia starts off as normal, and over time they become powerful enough to fight something divine, something that is not constrained by their setting.
in Dragon Ball Super Broly, Gogeta and Broly punched each other's fist and broke 4 dimensions. Are you
That is
saying?
Seisha. That is
Hold on,
Seisha.
hold on. But it was still within the rules of the Kaioshin.
No, Shadow, Shadow. When you're introducing Broly, Broly was introduced at a point where the narrative became a Seisha. As in they were already deity leveled characters. Goku and Vegeta were deity level characters by the time Broly's first introduction ever happened.
Okay.
So basically, remember the introduction of the Super Saiyan? It happened when they were on a different planet.
Yeah, it
But
was
when
on that, right?
yes, how powerful was their transformation? All of Namek basically went dark when they transformed into a Super Saiyan for a hot second, right?
I agree.
Okay, when Goku was fighting Frieza on Namek, the planet was being destroyed, right?
Yes.
Okay, the reason why that's Zaysha is because Frieza as well as Goku were powerful enough to destroy that planet. As in they were not constrained by the almost like by the laws of the world. They were able to break the laws of the world.
Well, no, because they would. If they even admitted that had they been on the planet when it blew up, they might die, or they're
Yes,
likely to die.
that is true. That is very true. But when you compare Wuxia to Zaysha, a Wuxia character would be incapable of destroying a planet. A Zaysha character, a deity level character, would be capable of destroying a planet.
Okay, you know what? I can concede to that. I actually like the way that I like the way that sounds. I can support that. But I think in regards to overall cosmology and truth, I think even if a story can transfer between point A to point B, I think the macro and the micro of Zaysha and Wusha, I think they're the same story with two, because the scaling still works on a
It's a power scale.
no, it's not just a
It is,
power
yes,
scale.
it is still a power scale.
Hold on, it's just like we have the same chemical composition as the planet. And the planet has the same compositional scale as the universe. And the universe has the same compositional scale as the galaxy. Like, it's all the same story, just looked at in different ways from a different lens. Does that make
That's
sense?
still nope, that's still a part of power scaling. You're talking about the
I'm not
beginning.
speaking strictly on power
I'm
scaling.
telling you, okay, I'm telling you that it has a huge aspect in power scaling because I don't know what other aspect you're wanting to consider because you're focusing on what a character's capability is, and power doesn't necessarily need to be about fighting strength. It's more so about what unique abilities that they have and how expansive it can be.
So, no, I
Oh,
think
oh my
you're
gosh.
misinterpreting what I'm saying. So, here's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying this, this, and these are all 3 containers, right? You can agree to that. Fair?
I barely know what they are. Hold on. What is this? Nope. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. What is this? Okay, 3 cups. Is that what you're showing me? A cup? What is that? Is that a medicine?
Sure.
Okay, a tiny container. And then is that lipstick? An empty container. Okay. 3 empty containers. Okay. What is the point of these 3 empty containers?
He's showing the different sizes.
Okay.
Three containers.
Yes, 3
Each,
containers.
each of them both can contain a liquid within its boundaries, right?
I'm 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 having a huge disconnect on what you're trying to say, but keep going. Keep
Let's go to
going.
settings and lore.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Settings and lore is very specific. Basically, this would be after you've established your cosmology, you've set up your playground. Whenever you create a setting within that, you have to create something that um, follows the rules of your cosmology, and that is going to be the setting. The lore is the history of that setting, wherever the whatever time period that you're starting off with. This is the history. This is the history that you're exploring, essentially. So what's a good example of setting and lore? We can use any narrative for setting and lore, actually. Hey, Naruto! A great example would be Naruto and the Bijus, with the fact that there were 9 Bijus, the fact that they used to be one 10-tailed Biju. But they were separated so that as a way of preventing, what was it, the rabbit goddess from ever coming to life. Oh wait, no, Firefly hasn't read that far.
No, that's what you're thinking about. Yeah. But Firefly hasn't seen that part, but she's already in a panel, so she's gonna get over it.
No,
And
it's
even if we
fine. You're not
explain
gonna
it,
ruin anything for me. You're cool.
Okay, that's great. It's one of the biggest things that I think was a hindrance of Naruto. Kishimoto did not plan his series well enough to actually add foreshadowing of the fact that the 10 Bijus, that there was supposed to be a 10th Biju from the get-go, and the fact that they were separated to prevent the resurrection of their rabbit goddess. There was no foreshadowing of that existence whatsoever, much less any of the Bijus having names. Freaking ridiculous.
you know what would have helped that? Having a very well and thought out cosmology.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kishimoto did not do that. You know who does a fantastic job of planning out their lore? One Piece.
What?
Yes.
Go to them.
Yes. I can prove that shit to you. One Piece had foreshadowed Jinbei as far back as the first 100 chapters of first 100 chapters of One Piece. On top of that, they foreshadowed Haki, a power, as far back as the first chapter of One Piece.
Yes, the first episode.
Yeah, the first
episode.
The first chapter of the manga. You don't get introduced to you get introduced to a form of Haki when they go to Skypiea with Mantra, and then you get to be introduced to Haki proper during the Marineford arc. That is great foreshadowing. And then you have the lore regarding the Pirate King, Goldie Roger. You can't tell me that that's not fantastic foreshadowing and lore.
No, it's great
What?
storytelling, and he's really good at
Lore.
he knows his
Foreshadowing.
plot. He knows his plot, and he knew
That's
what it
part of
was gonna
lore.
be.
That's a part of lore.
You just arguing to argue back later.
No, no. This is actually pretty good. It's definitionally lore. When you're trying to talk about, like, part of lore is talking about history. If you want me to be a debate bro, I'll pull up the definition of lore. How about that? Want me to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
because I was actually gonna mention Sword Art Online.
Ew.
You just talked about good lore, and then you said ew, so it's Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online is not a good series.
It's a great story. That story was lined out from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's
Not really.
lorely, it's consistent. Every single character that has a relevant piece of Alicization has been told in every story leading up to it and why they were how they were. Literally the same thing you just praised One Piece for, Sword Art Online did.
I can't even touch Sword Art Online. Ew, no, no. I found the definition of lore. Shit, I muted myself. Okay, here we go. So lore has a total of 3 definitions, but I'll go through all of them. So lore, a particular body of knowledge or tradition. 2, something that is learned, either A, traditional knowledge or belief, or B, knowledge gained through study or experience, or 3, a more archaic definition, something that is taught, almost like a lesson. So when it comes to lore for One Piece, it ends up being one of the biggest things that you have to try to figure out is that you don't really know much about is who Gold D. Roger is. I think Gold D. Roger is first introduced as Gold Roger anyways. And you don't know much about Gold Roger, but then you learn about D. You have Luffy who has a D, and then you find more characters throughout the entire narrative who also have a D. Like Law. Law has a D in his name. There is also who else? Ace has a D in his name.
Ace, Ace, Law, Gold,
and then when you get further into
like
the
I think there's
narrative,
like 12 total right now,
yeah. But when
and
you
it's
get
called the
further,
Will of D, right?
yes, when you get further into the narrative, you find out that there is such thing as the will of D, as in people who have a D are descendants of someone specific. We don't know what that
And
specific
Dragon as
thing
well.
is. Huh? Yes,
Dragon.
Dragon. Yes. Which is Luffy's father. So, we don't know what the D actually means
Yeah.
because it's connected to the Void Century that happened, what, 800 or 900 years ago. It was an entire century that was wiped off of existence, but the world government was established right at the end of the Void Century. And you know that the most powerful people in existence for that setting, politically, the celestial dragons, they are terrified of the will of D. They call anybody who has the will of D devils. And then you have the devil fruit. How are they connected? We do not know, but there's been consistency with the plot of One Piece. And that is still all about that lore.
I mean, and on a micro scale, they did the same thing with the Has-Been Hotel, I guess.
Has-Been Hotel's lore is so sloppy.
Is it consistent?
I have to question it.
Niggas just like to argue. No, KT, you can argue.
My gosh. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like how Has-Been Hotel has been formulated. It's just there is some consistency with it, I guess, but I can't. Geez, I would have to watch it all over again.
Steven Universe.
Steven Universe is bad storytelling.
You're fired.
What do you mean I'm fired? This is my panel, bro. Yeah, I should have thought that one through.
No.
Anywho.
You know what, Diva, you got me.
Oh my gosh. Anywho.
So, hold on.
Yes.
You made some very good points, and I was going to give you kudos on it until you realized that you didn't realize that one of the shows you just stepped on did the same thing thoroughly, and that was Steven Universe. For the world that it was built in everything from episode 1 to the final episode of the future was all lined out, episode after episode after episode, season after season.
What are you referring to?
I'm talking about the Rose Court story.
Uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't finish Steven Universe because
And that's why you
the
say it was
quality. I'm telling you, the quality of the story went to shit, and then there was also the complicated. Like, there's how like there's also that stupid narrative where it was gay as fuck, where it's just like, what exactly is the what exactly was their dancing supposed to represent? It was poor world building. I couldn't bring myself to finish it. I'm sorry.
But see, here's the thing. If we're going to have objective conversations about cosmology, Steven Universe has great cosmology. Hey, Emmett.
Even universe. What? No.
Wait, your mic isn't agreeing with you. Hold on.
Oh.
Do I need to get you some Henny?
No. Fuck
Okay.
off. Fuck off. I don't know if I would say that it has great cosmology. I don't know. I can't say I would agree with that.
How about I lay it out and then you give me because I've actually seen it all and had the conversation with
Fine.
Rebecca Sugar about it.
Fine. Go right ahead. Go
Okay.
right ahead.
There's a book of stones that actually breaks down exactly how stones affect you emotionally. Rebecca Sugar, in creating Steven Universe, actually looked through books of stones and gave each character in that story the personality of each of these gemstones intentionally in order to create a kind of like pseudoscience around it, right? Number one, the story of Pink Diamond matters. And the reason the story of Pink Diamond mattered, and again, had you got past season 1, once it hits season 2, the story gets a lot more serious. It breaks the cartoon and starts bringing in the lore journal. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 literally go through Steven's literal 9-year-old to 14-year-old self, including all of his childhood, everything, while also trying to be the hero of a planet that he doesn't even understand, of a war that he wasn't even born, he was born into without knowing anything about it. The story of Garnet was foretold in the very first episode. Whenever Garnet first gets popped, you see she has 2 gems. Nobody knows Garnet's a fusion until the end of Jailbreak, but it was foretold in episode 3 if you paid attention to the details. Why she was taller than everybody else, why she was stronger than everybody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then it explained how fusions work. When lapis lazuli and jasper fused, they became malachite. Malachite is actually a stone that poisons water when it gets in it. It's actually designed. That character was designed specifically for that toxic relationship, that poisonous. So again, in each of these aspects, even up to the story of Spinel, because despite Rose Quartz having a good heart, she was a bitch. Because she was a bitch, she ended up leaving her only friend in a garden for 3,000 years.
I mean, this is part of what makes it very difficult for me to get into Steven Universe. I don't know what the point of the entire story was. I mean, okay, yes, that is good lore. It's layered. It is great foreshadowing. But I think what turned me off about the entire series was how they budgeted the entire series. And I got so annoyed where each episode ended up being so fucking short, and then they took such long breaks. There was no work ethic behind it.
Well, keep in mind, Adventure Time was still running at the time Steven Universe was, and Rebecca Sugar was the main artist of Adventure Time. There was a reason why Adventure Time happened what it did, and every other season they had a major controversy that had Cartoon Network pull them. But again, because we're talking strictly on lore, because that's the topic we're on now, the lore and world building. The reason I even brought that up, because I could have went to Adventure Time, but there were times where Adventure Time's lore didn't really follow what it had been established before. Rebecca Sugar fixed that during Steven Universe. She made Steven Universe follow the same path from the not the trailer. What do they call those? The pilot.
What?
The pilot forward. Because and the reason why I'm even making the conversation now is because we are all building a story, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that's important for our story is whether it's a one-off or whether it's one book like KT's gonna do, or whether it's 17 like mine. Everything should still make sense to the readers. So if they would have picked up if they picked up book 3 of my series for whatever reason, and was like, I want to understand why Jamie Duskborn is so hollow to the world. So you can literally go back to where in her prequel book she explains how she didn't even ask for the power that she has, and it forces her to be recluse because if she releases her power, she could destroy parts of the city and or planet because of gravity.
I'm not sure. Okay. I'll just let that point stand because you're talking about almost like 5 different things at once.
Yes.
No!
Complex
Okay.
lore. But it all has to do with the same core topic. Lore. Why the lore matters.
I mean, lore matters to have a form of consistency. Yes. It establishes something that the readers can actually attach themselves to. Lore gets very complicated almost because it can go in a variety of different directions. That lore needs to be a topic of its own to actually fully get into this because
Well,
it goes so many fucking directions.
well we're definitely going to have a conversation on lore specifically one day because we've already figured that part out. Like, but that actually makes me think. Like,
What?
and I'm thinking about something. Expansion, right?
What about expansion?
So you saw how it was as we went through these last 2.5 hours. We started talking about how things got expanded in ways that then fell apart, right? Well, I I don't believe there's a such thing as no. I believe you can expand lore so much that the actual story can get lost. And
Well,
I feel like
yes,
there should definitely be an ending to a story.
that's the point of writing a book. Like whenever you're writing in a narrative, you need to have a beginning, middle, and end. Whatever you're trying to do, there should be a beginning, middle, and end that needs to be decided upon. It doesn't
Do you believe?
necessarily. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
sorry.
It- You don't need to have all of the details figured out when you have the beginning, middle, and end, but you need to have the through line of what you're trying to do. When it comes to a book, you need to know what's the beginning, middle, end of the book. When you have a series, you need to know how many books you're going to have in the series. And then like TTRPGs, it's a bit different, but you still need to have a beginning, middle, and end, as well as the power scaling of that, since you're balancing both the narrative as well as the levels that your characters are going to be playing, depending on whatever the game is.
Right.
And then basically you need to have an overarching narrative. And the only way that you can maintain an overarching narrative is if at least the theme is consistent when you plan it out. So the risk of whenever you try to expand it, not every narrative needs to be expanded. And
Because we talk
that's the
about
thing.
stories that shouldn't have been expanded, like Boruto. Boruto was a really pointless story.
Of course it was pointless. They chose the wrong character to be the protagonist. That
I
and
agree.
then Kishimoto ruined the power scaling. Ikemoto didn't know how to handle the power scaling of Boruto because they made the kids very powerful at the very beginning, but then Naruto and Sasuke are basically almost at
Criminal.
like they're borderlining planetary level.
Yo, they
So
pussy.
what?
Let's just keep it a buck. They put like in Boruto. I hate Boruto.
Yes, I hate him too.
Naruto was such a well built story where we love Naruto because we seen how he built his way up there. Like you said, Boruto from the beginning, and let's not get into how the motherfucker was not a likable character. Like he isn't a likable character. He's a little asshole and shit. It's just like, yeah, stronger than my
Started from the
daddy.
bottom, made it to the top.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
little
got to
bitch.
see his struggle. It's why I actively said is just like if anybody was supposed to be a flagship character, it should have been Sarada, and Kishimoto wanted
You
it
never
to be
said that in this
Sarada.
panel.
Huh?
Said that. You never said that in this panel.
Whatever.
No,
Sarada
I
should
just
have
bring
been
it
a
up because you
flagship
didn't bring it.
character. Okay,
If you're gonna
fine.
make a statement like that, make sure you precursor it. Like I've made the
Okay.
statement before. I'm just trying to help. Goddamn, Blackler.
Sarada should have been the flagship character. She had every reason to be the flagship character, especially when you consider that Sasuke turned himself into a war criminal by he attempted to kidnap the 5 Kages and killed the 7th? Was it 6 or 7? I fucking forgot. He killed
Most of 'em
Danzo,
fucking-
but he was the Hokage. In the end, basically, Sarada was an Uchiha, and anybody who recognized the Uchiha, who the Uchiha was, would have associated her as a criminal because of Sasuke's actions. It would have made sense that Sasuke chose to walk away from the village so that Sarada wouldn't have to experience nearly as much ridicule, but they didn't mess with this at all in the Boruto narrative. At all. And then you have Ikemoto trying to make all of the girls basically sexualizing all the girls. It's just like gross. I'm sorry. Rant over
I mean,
about
he is
Boruto.
Japanese. That was, you know what I'm saying? That's to be expected if we're being honest here.
Why the hell did he take away Hinata's tits though?
Don't really like her, you know. Now Barto's a bitch and his lady's the man type shit. You know?
Boruto was always a bitch. He was always a bitch. But then again, what do you expect? Boruto had everything to start off with. There was nothing that Boruto didn't need. Even his story was shit. Like
Yeah,
the
I hate
introduction
him.
of Boruto's story was also shit. Sarada's actually made sense when she was first introduced. Hi, oh my gosh, Dad's actually going to be close by. I want to see Dad.
Facts. Yeah, because he's never there. He's Goku. He's Goku of this world easily.
Yes.
Word. And Goku's a terrible fucking dad. I want to reiterate that, guys. I think that's almost a pivotal. Like, as I've watched it, I've realized this story may be more about like you should like Vegeta, and this is what happens if you're a
You know
terrible
what?
dad.
Yeah, you're right. You were absolutely right.
I agree with that.
Vegeta, in spite of all of his inadequacies and aggressions, he actually was a better father because he actually stuck around and made sure that he was present for both Trunks and Bra's life.
And also, like,
his
think about it.
son once in 8 years.
He's really becoming the god of destruction. Like he has a set goal, unlike Goku bitch ass. He just
Yeah, but
out trying to catch the
at least
fade.
Vegeta didn't put his kid up there at 6 years old and go, here, take this asshole out for me.
That's
I
what I'm
think he was
saying, bro.
13.
This man,
Cell
who
was
gives a
only
fuck? He
3.
was a
You think he was 13?
Yo.
Wait, what?
Cell was.
Cell
He's
was like
Cell
3 or 4 at the time.
What
which is
did Cell
correct, but
look
who
like?
gives a fuck?
What
Yeah.
did Cell look like? That
This isn't a
3-year-old
regular
was
3.
killing people.
mass
Look,
murdering ass 3-year-old.
I think
Yeah,
y'all are
right.
hating on Cell, and I don't think that's fair. Because
What do
have
you
you
mean
seen
hating
that
on Cell?
jawline?
No, you said he was a 3-year-old. The 3-year-old was destroying cities and killing people.
He also beat up a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my point. He was a threat to the humanity. He needed to die.
And guess what Goku bitch ass say? Y'all got this. I'm about to go train.
Centipede.
Pretty much.
Here,
And my
son, you
man
got
is
it.
shit trucking. Yeah, on
I
God.
believe in you.
Yeah,
To
and
be
look,
fair,
guess what? And
Goku
like I
believed in
said,
his son.
but
Yes,
bro,
but he didn't
I'm.
consider the fact whether his son was ready to actually fight.
Mhm.
Look, y'all
And
are
just talking about long
making stuff
term
up.
lore. Look,
No, this
Who's
is
his
not
son
that
had
making
all the
stuff up?
potential.
that's actually a part of the freaking narrative.
Facts.
Goku, like literally, you have Piccolo literally grabbing Goku, setting him aside, and saying, "Have you ever considered the fact that your son Gohan has never fought in his fucking life?"
Facts.
And you want to put
But
him up against
but
perfect self.
hold up,
Seriously?
Gohan. Every time Gohan fought, he beat somebody's ass.
Until the
Yes, but that
end.
doesn't
That's
change the fact
True.
that he was a child.
No, look, and that was until the end. That's why I say in the long run, this really is about Vegeta, because even Gohan showed like having all the potential in the world without the proper things, you become Saiyan Man. You're not going to become strong because you ain't really even have nobody around you showing you how
Well,
to do this.
his
Hold on. He literally became Beast Gohan because he was doing push-ups for a month.
Yo, that's off pure potential. That's what I'm saying. Off of pure
he
potential,
had
Gohan is basically Goku, but he won't become the actual, Goku per se because he ain't got it. He just don't have
No,
the
but
training.
here's the thing. When the whole point of Dragon Ball was to let Gohan become the hero. But
Dragon Ball Z.
after Namek, Goku dies as a Super Saiyan, right? Gohan was supposed to be the Zenio of the Goku, his next step. Instead, people were like, "But we've known Goku for 21 years. Bring him back." And then they made Goku pointless because Gohan. Keep in mind, now we're talking about the lore. Gohan as a character was a pacifist in an
Man,
anime
nah, we talking
about
about
fighting.
Toriyama. This ain't got shit to do with no
Hold up.
lore. That's just
In
Toriyama
an
being a
anime
bandwagon.
about fighting. No,
Well,
Gohan has
you're talking
always.
about, but you're talking about background politics that was forced into the story.
Hold on, but
This goes
even
back. This goes back to Jason Todd and how he was removed from the story because nobody liked him, and then after that they fucking regretted removing him because they chose to kill him off in the most brutal way possible.
to be fair, they did murder him with that crowbar.
It was fucking wrong. That was fucking wrong. But I mean, just like Goku's a bad dad. Goku's just a bad, bad dad at the end of the
Main
day.
point. Let's not forget that. All this talking we doing.
But I guess it's just like all this talk about lore. We're not really talking about settings and just like how large a setting can be in general.
Hey yo, and I gotta correct you too. I am definitely making a series out of this. This isn't just gonna be a single book. That was the point of what I
Okay,
was
there we
saying,
go.
like how like it's about character build, and then even like this book, it's the beginning of the end. It's not really it's explaining like for future, like it's giving everybody the basis of why this is happening, what's the reason, and you get what I'm saying?
Right. Of course. Yeah. I think what it's just like whenever you're establishing a series, you're dealing with you have to consider what the end game is supposed to be and how you want to balance the scaling for it. I guess for me, I like having more grounded settings, which is why
Mhm.
I already have a hard cap of how powerful the average character can be in my setting. There are people that can break those boundaries, but it's not without reason.
Mhm.
Um, as the best way of putting it, I guess. Like, when I have the magic in my setting, I make it more I want it to be more grounded. But
No,
there
for
are
sure.
there are a lot of very powerful abilities that they have, but what also makes them powerful is how the character chooses to utilize those abilities specifically.
Hmm.
And I want that level of creativity. Like, you know how there are different types of fighters in a video game where you can have like a power, like somebody that is like power fighter, and then you have another that is more of like a speed based fighter,
Yeah.
and then you have like technic based fighters.
Mhm.
I I want to like explore those sort of aspects with the setting, but if you're not careful with the power scaling of your setting, everybody ends up becoming basically a power based fighter, and then it ends up ruining the balance of the story. Where like I was saying between Wuxia and Zeisha, you if you keep on trying to if you keep on using a narrative based upon how powerful somebody can go, every time they break a limit, you have to create a new limit for them to break, which
Mhm.
there's
That's
a there are
tenacity.
that's what makes it Wuxia versus that's what makes it Wuxia and Zeisha.
Shonen, in short.
I Yeah, Shonen too. Um, but I don't want to focus on just fighting when it comes to my series. Now, do I like violence? Of course, I absolutely love violence, but don't want to focus on just those two things.
And mine is
No.
primarily, I'm a stunt person by trade. So fighting is kind of the thing I understand best. I write really good fight scenes because I understand what it looks like to read a fight scene from a cinematic stage. So but I think that's the DNA of us as creators. Like you have a very specific DNA to how your story is going to be told. You make really beautiful characters, and you're writing as somebody transitioning from female to male.
Shut the
So
fuck
you,
up. You know what? Nope, 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 nope. Shut the fuck up. Okay, we're gonna
Oh my
talk about
god.
just the three of us for the next 5 minutes. You hear that? 5 fucking minutes. You can stay backstage for the next 5 fucking minutes over that shit.
Oh Jesus!
Fuck this shit.
He's not gonna let that go.
No. Fuck no.
Oh,
Ugh.
Yeah,
he's like a
what
dog
happened?
with a bone sometimes.
How we get it there?
He got cut off. She cut him off.
I,
Okay.
yes, I said 5 minutes. I
He's
mean,
in timeout.
yes, he's in timeout.
We'll catch you later, Shadow. We'll see you in a little bit, bro. But yeah.
Go ahead,
Damn, I forgot what
Casey.
the last thing I was even saying was because he threw
We
me
were
off
talking about. So we were talking.
Mm-mm-mm.
So power scaling within your own setting. I guess for me, I'm making a narrative that is focused more so on. I'm trying to make a narrative that is far more focused on the characters
Mhm.
rather than the fighting, rather than the actual fights. I know that
Oh
Shadow,
yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
Shadow is likes shonen, and because he likes that. Um, because he likes shonen, he's prioritizing the fights with his setting.
Yeah. I was saying mine is more of a I call it like an anime cartoon hybrid. It's the hybrid part because comes from my arcs are like anime-ish, you know what I'm saying? But cartoonish in terms of the plotting and settings and stuff. Mine isn't really more about fights. Like the fights that we do have in there, like my writing fights, I make them really good. But most of the time, it's really you getting to know the player. I mean the people and things like that. You know what I'm saying? The characters at hand.
Yeah. Um, I guess with each character that I have, um, they have a level of skill to them. Like for an example, I'm using I base my setting significantly on the it started off being based upon a lot of the D&D classes, but then I've been spending a lot of time trying to make them different from what they were.
Okay.
So, like for an example, my wizards, they started off as scribes. They're more scholarly, deliberately so, as in a lot of the inspirations are still D&D, but they are also what is it? They're still D&D, but they have their own twist to them, essentially. Trying
Mine's.
to, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I made my like. I'm not gonna deny it to you. I'm a really, I guess you could say, creative person. So I made my aura scale basically like well, I made my power base on this thing called aura, which I took that from if you ever seen Hunter x Hunter, how they have like it's not that's not really their power scale basis, to be honest with you. But it was
Hmm.
just like an element of it, and I really liked it because it got something to do with like your spirit and will. So like my power scale is based on two things: will and lineage. So it's like some people inherently just have better powers because of the lineage of people they come from. And then your will also factors in it. So the will is what makes it like it's a couple people in the world, and I'm not gonna lie, they consider them like special because they can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like where their family lineage isn't really known or heavy, but their will was so strong, they basically been able to break those limits. And then I like again, the power scale is cool. I think it's just something I really more made to make the fight scenes good. But for me personally, I want to make this more like Lord of the Rings, like
Hmm.
in terms of like filling and giving you a good storyline. And this is everybody here. My only thing is like again, back to the anime part of it, it's not really an end to it. I can't deny that. Like the book has an end, but the overall point doesn't. Because this book, like I said, this book is damn near explaining the end of things almost, right? And then from there, I go back on everything. And then we start explaining like the personal characters, those are individual. Because I want to make it more like a comic book series, right? Where like individual people can get their own spin-off, I guess you could say.
Right. Which I understand that. With me, with the setting that I have, I'm dubbing it as World of Saima, but Saima is just one country on the continent that I want to focus on. Saima is still a powerful nation that is maintaining its power, but its power base and how it's structured is very complicated. It's unique because of the fact that it was started up when the first king, who started off as a general, made a pact with a gold dragon during the time of a siege. The
Okay.
dragon helped destroy the siege, and from that, they became a country after many, many wars. The current present day of Saima is supposed to start 700 years after that, but I've been building up a lot of the history and the lore of what happens in between so that I could actually build up the inspiration for the political base of what present day Saima is going through. And that is supposed to be the playground that my four characters are supposed to be entering into.
Yeah, see, now I will admit, now this is the only place I really did take inspiration from. Warhammer 40K. So mine is more like this is a universe, like a long expanse. Be honest with you, I already got it planned out from the beginning. It's like a 50,000 year timeline. That's
Hmm.
where I'm starting at. And I'm not even starting in the beginning of that 50,000. I'm basically going damn near in the middle. That's what the book, the whole
Yeah.
series is going to be anchored off of the middle of this first 50,000 year timeline. So here's the middle, explaining like again, here's the end of society, which is the things as we knew it and things like that. You know, some of the stories when I get into their personal further character depth, that I'm probably gonna go more in the past for that, and then explain some things happening in the future, how it was already set up if we look at the past, and then the future parts go more for, because I have like a side character. I literally have I started this weird. I made the universe, I made a character list, and then, if I'm being very frank with you, the name of the video game we're making is called Essence of Ethereum. So that's supposed to be kind of like the Warhammer 40K universe itself, right? Um, and that's what the whole thing is about. It's about soul and spirit through this time, and basically like how humanity went through these major points and how it's led to. Because I have one of my futuristic plans, because it's the next version of the game. Currently, the game is like at the next period at the end of the book, damn near, and then my next game after that, we're going to end up in more like kind of a cyberpunkish setting, but it's in a different world, which is all in the essence of Ethereum or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
so I'm not gonna lie. I look at that and think like I just like having more open areas. Sometimes, again, like I can admit, I'm a big fan of Bethesda for weird reasons too. Because the reasons people probably hate them is some of the reasons I love them, which is like Bethesda have these blank holes in their video game stories, right? That it's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense. But what I like is how they'll do this thing where it's like fans might be like, "Yo, this is what's canon in my head," and if enough fans agree, like, "Yeah, we agree, that's probably what's canon, should be canon," they'll literally pick that up. Not saying I'm gonna do that same thing, but I like having an open area so that way I can come back and fill that space if need be. You get what I'm saying? Like when
Yeah,
yeah.
there's room for interpretation almost,
Hmm.
which I like that as well. Technically Star Wars would have made room. Star Wars, before it was purchased by Disney, made room for that, where you have so
Exactly.
many different writers and they would have their own continuities, and that actually was nice until Disney decided, "No, we're not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah,
All of it
Disney's
is
fucking.
non-canon."
I know Josh didn't want us to stump on Disney for some reason, but I can't help it. And any chance I get, I will stump on Disney
You're
because
gonna
they're
do it just for
fucking.
the sake of it.
I listen, no, because I hate them, bro. They've destroyed so
I
many
don't like
things I've
Disney
They
loved.
either.
really have. They really
Yes,
Like
have.
they went out of their way to make everybody hate them. They
yeah,
deserve it.
yeah. At this point, I do feel like that. I feel like some things, even TV shows and stuff they made, like people were like, "Yo, that last shit is terrible. Like, don't get those type of
Yes.
writers." And then they were like, "You know what? We're gonna double down on that shit. We're gonna get
Yes, and
those
then they
type
wanna
of
shove it
writers."
in front of everybody's face, and what
Yeah, and I'm
happened?
like, "Yo,
Everybody walked the fuck away.
yeah,
It's
man,
just
Yeah.
get that shit
what
the
this the
fuck out of
dumb
here, bro."
lesbian shit that they added in there, whatever the fuck that
Right.
story was.
Yo,
Right. What was the
She-Hulk was
point of
such
that?
a fucking waste, bro. Like, Ironheart, man, a bunch of this shit was just like and this the thing. I genuinely don't hate it on no basis of these women or nothing of that nature, right? It's really that it's just terrible fucking writing, bro. Like it's just like we're gonna trash all shit that was canon to make this bullshit canon, and by the way, this is some other shit. And I don't give a fuck, man. Hey, give me a good story, bro. Again, Star
Right.
Wars,
But
what they
everything
did to Star
now
Wars.
that Disney puts out has a political background to it.
Exactly. Even
That is
that.
almost every single narrative that shows up. You know what
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've noticed as a lot of different narratives? A lot of people are obsessed with creating political narratives that is always about revolution without knowing what the fuck revolutions are. I'm gonna have to
Fact.
make an entirely different stream about that alone, because it's always the same fucking narrative. Revolutions always end terribly. Hands down. Always terribly. It's always
No. I
fucking
won't say
shit. It's
always
miserable.
terribly. Hold up, chill, because it doesn't always end terribly. What is
Yeah.
terrible in a revolution is the thing that happens that in the process of that revolution becoming the actual thing. You get what I'm saying? Because listen, if we talking about like you're gonna have to kill people to have most revolutions. And like, let's just be real. Some people gonna die, right? So
Somebody's going
I
down.
get what
You
you're
gotta
saying.
break a few eggs, it's just like you wanna make it
Collateral
quick,
damage.
you gotta break
Yeah.
a few eggs.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? A couple of eggs gotta get dropped type joint. You know what I'm saying? But as long as the chickens live, you get what I'm
Still
saying? The
I
have
chickens
mean,
the
live and it was a
prosperity and the
sure,
war.
future going.
there
You're
was
good.
plenty of chickens that were alive afterwards. They were just the wrong kind of chickens.
Hey yo, then we gotta breed the right ones or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Get them wrong ones out of here. But nah, as long as they make
but
eggs,
you
they
said
good
it. You
chickens.
said it.
Fuck
You
it.
have
You
to
have to have.
get rid of the wrong kind of chickens. So
I
there we
agree
go.
with you. I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
part of the revolution
But you
thing.
see,
Even
you see the point. It's just like it gets real messy real quick when you talk about a
nah,
revolution.
that it ain't getting
Right.
messy. I was honest with you. I know some people got to get up out of here. I'm okay with that. That's why I said, look, I tell you in my book, like I said, it begins at society collapsing because I want to talk about that. To be honest with you, like how some
Right.
where some
Right.
crazy shit affect, and I don't want people to really listen. I'm okay with that. I want to show in my book one of the like I said, one of the main pieces is the government, right? So the
Yes.
government's main thing is like now that there's these like how they're seeing it as God level people, like we can't control these people at all. You know, they've done what the government do. They trying to make anti they shit and they killing people in order to control them people. You get what I'm saying? Like if
Right.
people are saying, because in some of these instances their power is unlocked. As soon as the power is unlocked, they got trackers now, and now they're figuring out where they are, and they're basically popping up at their house like, yeah, we gotta take your kid. You know what I'm saying? If the
Yes.
parents resisting, they killing them. But people
Well,
are
they stepped
seeing
up with
them.
the extermination method.
Exactly. And people are seeing, well, not really extermination. It's extermination if you resist, but if you don't, then they're putting you in the government and basically utilizing you as assets for them. But they're
Yes.
utilizing you guys
Yeah.
as assets to kill the other or users and stuff, right? But
Right.
County state.
so yeah, all this is just an amalgamation and adding up because again, I want to show people like, yeah, fuck it. If things change, if we want the dramatic change, that's because it does start kind of, I'm not gonna say in our timeline, but I make it real parallel to the type of shit we going through. Like I
Right.
explain how it's the different countries and their political position is and how this event has affected those things to the point of really collapse because none of them can control them. Like that's the main problem. And like I said, it's a lot of not a lot of them, but anti-heroes. So it's like when they're coming to get them, they like, shit, get them the fuck out of here. And then some of them furthermore like, well, why don't we just go find the government people and kill them first? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, nah, let people die, bro.
Sometimes
Yeah,
they got them.
and I'm gonna show, but the main part is too afterwards, because again, I told you it's like the 6 month period of the war between them. I'm showing the effects of like how even after that, you know what I'm saying, it can be good. Like I ain't gonna sit there and say it's gonna be perfect, but it can be better. You know what I'm saying? And shit. Revolution can be good. I think it
Yeah.
just gotta be presented
Well, hey
at the
guys, I
end.
got to jump off for the night, but this has been a lot of really good information for me to help edit the Gaia Chronicles. So as far as making sure we're maintaining lore and consistency and continuity. So
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on and yeah, continue to give Shadow hell when you can. You know,
Absolutely.
it needs
That
to be
goes
put in this
without
place
saying.
sometimes. All right, guys, y'all have a good night.
You too. Not seeing you, Firefly. See you again.
Bye,
You too.
Firefly.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
Sure thing. And then there was two. I will say
my God.
that when it comes to the narrative, basically something that you were saying as well, where you wanted to be a parallel of your of what you've been seeing. I wanted to do the same with my own setting of Saima, where I wanted to reflect on the level of depravity that I've been seeing in this world by basically implementing it in my own setting, but I did it deliberately by inspiring it off of the Regency era specifically.
Mm.
which is basically the Regency era was known as the Regency era basically because of the fact that that was during the time of King George the Third.
I was about to say this got to be obviously a point where they're calling certain people of position regents and stuff, right?
It's specifically due to the fact that King George the Third ended up during the later years of his life, he went through bouts of mania to the extent where he wasn't capable of performing his duties as king. So there was a huge question near the later part of his life if when his son King George the Fourth was going to be ascending to the throne or not. But King George the Fourth was a mess. He was
He's
described
damn
as
near
rather
worse.
he was described as effeminate. Like King George the Third was a fantastic steward when it came to England.
Oh, my man
He
was zesty.
he was he was always managing finances. He managed the finances. He was managing his armies. He wrote down how much material, uniforms, everything. He wrote everything down because his ultimate goal was trying to take care of England's debt, and he made that his mission, and he succeeded in that specific mission. But one of the biggest things that ended up hindering him on that mission of trying to manage his debt was his many sons, because he had 15 kids, and of those 15 kids, only like George the Fourth managed to have one heir, and that was his daughter, who grew up to be like 20. I forgot how old she was. Had a baby. The baby died, and she passed away not long afterwards. So, like,
Damn.
George the Fourth did succeed the throne, but there was a literal crisis of who was going to take over the throne.
Succeed him.
Yes,
Yeah.
who was going to succeed him, as basically he had all these different sons, but they're all old, just like their dad, and none of them had a
Yeah.
legitimate heir. So he
Yeah.
had to
That
literally
was just
throw
crazy.
money at them and say, "Get me a legitimate heir. One of you, do it."
That's crazy.
15 kids. 15
Nah,
kids,
yeah, that's
and
what
a
I'm saying.
single
Out
one
of
of
15
them.
kids, none of them was airworthy. Is fucking crazy.
Because they had mistresses rather than marrying.
Yeah,
They had all their
nah.
mistresses, but you can't have a legitimate heir through
Yeah,
mistresses.
it's a bastard
So
child.
the only one that managed to get a proper heir was, I think, the fourth son. And that only happened because he found out that his wife was pregnant while they were touring out of the country.
Ooh,
And the
okay.
moment that they found out that they were out of touring outside of the country, he
They
realized
went
that
back.
yeah, he panicked because you can only the British, they cannot take over the throne unless they're born on British soil. So he grabbed his ship and ran back to Europe.
Carried the fuck back up. Hell yeah.
And then you have Victoria.
Okay, Queen Victoria.
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh.
is my bounty back up?
Uh,
For now.
I guess she doesn't want me talking about her.
I'm about to slap you. I will slap you.
You need to add an animation for it.
I will figure it out.
Add a cutscene. Slap the taste out your mouth.
Oh my gosh. Anywho, let's focus on the topic.
mm,
So we were just talking about settings, and then I went over like the Regency time period of why it was called the Regency era, which is basically it was the period of George the Fourth taking over the throne while his father was going through bouts of mania, and that lasted until, I think it lasted until he passed away.
I think it's crazy how I know this isn't exactly on topic, but I think it's crazy how many like kings or royalty did have like signs of insanity, Loki. Like most of them
Depends
were
on what you
crazy as
mean.
shit.
Well, it depends on what you mean by insanity. A lot of people try to do not try to understand the time period whenever they try to research them. Um, they misconstrued what the person might have been going through. Now, I'm not saying that this absolves some of the actions of some of the monarchs. I'm saying that there's a different way of actually considering the lens of
No, I
these
get what you're
kings.
saying. The time period was brutal, so you have to be brutal also, even in a certain
Yes,
sense. Like
absolutely.
I'm just saying. I know in terms of how we live today, we consider some of these motherfuckers insane. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know no other words to put it. And
I
even without the insanity, I will say like it's a common. It seems to be a common trait of narcissism. People who believe their lies. That's why I would have to say it's a good bit of narcissism historically.
mm, it depends on which monarch you're talking about, because I think um a good example would be, who was it? Um, Henry VIII. I don't know if how well you know, but a lot of people are vilifying Henry VIII, not realizing that Henry VIII was a well-beloved monarch during that time period. Part of the reason why he was able to get away with separating himself from the church and state was because of the fact that I think he was powerful enough to do so, as well as popular enough
Mhm.
to do so, and I believe that the rest of Europe did fear him um a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And
No,
I
it's
think
like Nero. I get exactly
mhm.
what you're talking about. Like how
Oh my
people
gosh, no, Nero was fucking bad. Nero
nah, Nero
was
wasn't
crazy.
as bad as people make it seem. He was also, you could look it up, he was really popular. First of
He
all, he's really popular. Even the conceptions about the fire, like they have proof that he opened up like his gardens, which is like what held the hoses and the pond aqueducts and shit. Like he was trying to help put out the fire. I'm not saying he didn't do some insane shit. Don't get me twisted here. I'm just saying. I'm just saying
no, that's
he is
fair.
somebody who's commonly misconceived. It's worse than what he was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even down to Henry, you have to be feared because you're doing something to make people fear you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Like,
no. There's been plenty of times when when you have a weak monarch, it ends up being disastrous for the rest of society. A good example is not Henry, Louis the 16th, I believe. Louis the 16th would be it. What is this? Uh,
I ain't gonna hold you. I like you on this history tip. I'm a history buff. You seem to be thoroughly like into history too. I like that too.
yeah. If you remember when the French Revolution was, Louis the 16th was the monarch that was heading the that was present during the French Revolution, but he
Mhm.
was his grandmother just looked at him as just like, "Wow, you're an ugly little child."
Sheesh.
He was
Damn.
he was already so insecure, very insecure. Um to boot on top of that, and part of the reason why the French Revolution happened was because Louis the 16th did not have a strong enough personality to take control of his own French courts when they kept on bullying him, essentially, because he was trying to fix the national debt, but they didn't like the French court didn't like the fact that every time they had a proper financer come in, they told him, tax the nobility, and you will fix this shit. And they all were disgusted by that concept. And as much as Louis wanted to do it, he didn't have the gumption to say, fuck you guys, I'm the king.
Yeah, he definitely should have did that. We would have never had that shit.
It would have fixed everything, but
He is pussy. I get it.
he was just weak, is the simple way of putting it.
I'm
There was
sorry because
also
I will use ghetto lingo.
I I mean, I don't mind. I never mind. But yeah,
Tell you now. Yeah, but he was pussy.
That
That's
this
what it
channel's
sounds like.
full of black people. Like we're
Which
about to
is
get
lit.
super ghetto.
I
Okay.
love ghetto. If that's black, hey, I like it. Fuck it.
You finna
Okay.
spit his people's booty holes and all.
Hold
Like,
up,
no,
hold up.
no, 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 no. We're not doing it. We're not
You
going that
turn this into
direction.
the
Absolutely not.
Friday freak out type shit. Hold up. It's a
That's
Sunday.
gross. That is beyond gross.
Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Let's get back to the.
Oh my gosh. Basically, whoa, no, don't do that. Oh
Louis
my
was a
gosh, no.
bitch.
Louis was a bitch. Louis was a bitch, as well as King Nicholas. I think his name was Nicholas.
The last Tsar.
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Can you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. My computer was doing stupid shit.
Mm.
But yeah, another aspect of it. Gosh, another aspect to really consider when it comes to it. It's during the 1700s, there was a lot of corruption that was going on when it comes to financial institutions that were starting to collapse between the 1700s and the 1800s. But also, this was during the time period where the Age of Enlightenment was happening as well. So it's a lot of the populace that was able to read. Oh, hold on, I haven't posted that at all. A lot of the populace were becoming more literate, so they were exploring a lot more thought. So they end up exploring a lot more radical ideals. It wasn't until 1840s, 1850s, where you have the concept of communism whispered. And that was with Marx creating communism with the Communist Manifesto. That was always deemed a radical movement by all of the West. But that is a byproduct of the Age of Enlightenment existing for.
So who is these nuts? Who is these nuts?
I think he has another profile.
I think he wants to come up.
Yeah, I already posted the link. So with that being said, what was also happening during that time period was, what was it called? In China, during the Qing dynasty, they were experiencing the century of humiliation, which was started when the British Empire took over Hong Kong. And that was always that was the Opium War. Was this? When you finish the cabinet, dismantling the old one and even taking it to the garbage, and y'all still nerding out. AVG, this is a nerd stream.
Hey, Canadian, I'm willing to fight you today.
Jesus, she's a lady.
Wait,
Yeah.
is
What's
feeding the hog like a euphemism for something else?
I don't know. I'm not gonna ask.
Hey, Ruffs and Nuts, is that a euphemism for feeding the hog?
It might literally be hogs.
Or
No,
it could be frying the bacon.
I don't care. You can fight me. What? Oh my god. Anyways, sorry, I did get distracted when it came to history.
She's got the attention span of a. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. What do you want?
Hold on, for real.
Oh my gosh, you don't know. You're derailing my panel.
Nah, but I will say, yeah, when I make these writings and books and stuff, I do pull a lot. That's the only thing I can say I really get inspiration from. I don't really try to pull too much from like shows or anything. Cause me personally, I'm a highly like big on trying to build my own worlds. Like my detailing is what I pride myself in, right? Like I just try to be highly detailed in this area. And then again, like really vague in the background sometimes.
No, I
Like,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, like how we got there. Sometimes I'm just gonna leave that shit the fuck out. Just point blank period. I'll just keep it real with you. And it is even a point with that because I do want people to sometimes wonder, like, hold up, it may not have been something gigantic, but you'll see like maybe a little time slip from chapter to chapter and think like, yo, what the fuck happened there? Because I'm setting that up for like later on down the road with those books I'm talking about. Like y'all talk about lore and like continuity. I am setting up like the ground. That's my main thing, setting up the groundwork now with these joints. So
Yeah.
25 years from now, you get this joint and be like, oh, I realized this what this was about. I want them to look at my shit like they do Kendrick Lamar songs. I ain't gonna hold you. I need them to break this shit down for 5 hours.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, I understand that feeling. It's just like you want it, you want them to have that euphoric feeling when they start reading through everything and then have that realization. It's just like, oh my gosh, this was
Yeah.
always there. It was planned from the beginning.
Attack on Titan. I don't know how we skipped that one, but it did great with that. I'm sorry.
Oh
Like
no,
even it,
like come on, what is the name?
what?
Fight Club.
Fight Club. Yeah.
You watch it when you watch it the second and third time. It's just like I watched it like 2 weeks ago and it's just like laughing my ass off. It's just like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't realize this before?
Yeah, nah, and that's what I'm saying. I wanted to be one of those situations where, like, because again, they go back to me and just artistry, period. Like rapping, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not really like a trap rapper. I'm like a whole metaphorical, black powered, revolutionary motherfucker most of the time. I just keep it honest with you, but but it's layered. Like you won't actually be like you'll just be bopping to it as a regular song. And the more you actually repeat it, then you'll start realizing like, oh shit. So that's kind of how I want like every piece of work I do. Like that's why I like RPGs with video games. I'm not gonna lie, getting back to Bethesda, I will lock you the fuck out. You get what I'm saying? Like if you make this decision, you can't go over there and make this decision. So this is forcing you to word. So you have to go back and have a whole nother playthrough if you ever want to see what's down that path sometimes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hi, bro. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
I mean, we're just chilling and nerding out the entire time.
Yeah, yeah. Hey. I figure I'd bring up the rear for the white guys. I'll be the token honky on the panel, and I'll be the.
I got to beat there.
Oh no,
Sorry.
kid. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm colorblind, so it's hard for me to tell.
It's okay. With the transracial movement, we can honor you as a black man if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Good.
hold up, you wallet. Chill. But salute, you definitely got it for the white folk. You can hold it down for the white folk. You know what I'm saying? I support it.
This is gonna be as stupid as fucking possible.
I have to draw the line somewhere. Okay, chill.
Fine. KT has to rob you first.
Nah,
To
hell
be
no.
fair, I
God
literally
damn.
just ordered a Cinnabon on DoorDash. So I just spent $20 on a Cinnabon.
That's holy shit, dude. Yep. All right.
It takes a lot to look this fat. Like I'm trying to gain some weight.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with if it makes you feel any better, I planted my watermelons today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Hey, sea salt and watermelon with a little bit of grape drink.
Yeah, that's the way my grandma
I've heard about
grandma used
that.
to eat watermelon with the salt like that. Yeah, I don't do it. I just like it normal. I like it just plain. You know what I'm saying?
What about you, KT, as a resident black man? Do you put salt on your watermelons?
I ain't gonna lie.
Oh.
Why are we being racist here? This is weird. I don't understand. Nah, listen. In real life, I think
Let's.
this is where shit get weird for me.
Oh my god.
Well, you don't have to be racist with each other to be friendly. This is weird. Like,
I don't lied. This is
Word.
Being
fine.
racist. I was just
Word.
asking a question.
Nah, bro, get the fuck out of here with that weird shit.
I mean,
Why
it's-
is that?
it-
Hold
it
on now.
works.
That's not race.
If it's tasty.
I'm from Alabama. That's Alabama culture, right? Like I've sold watermelons on the side of the road.
No. Listen. Nobody's saying it's racist to just say watermelon, right? But
Uh-huh.
when we imply I bought Cinnabons and then the retort is watermelons, we're getting into some old stupidness. I don't.
No, I
Hey, T,
legitimately.
I did just spend $20 on a Cinnabon.
He was talking about what he did today, and I was talking about what I did today. I literally planted my watermelons today.
You have a farm?
No, I planted them in my backyard. I got 8 plants going.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
KT, you could just be being a victim right now. You're supposed to be stronger than that.
Nah, I'm not weird. It ain't nothing about being stronger than that, motherfucker. Being strong ain't got nothing to do with being ignorant.
Okay. So there's a lot of people where I live that have some chickens in their backyard, or they have horses, or they have cattle because of where I live. And he said that he's from Alabama. I mean,
I live in West
there's a
Virginia.
liquor store. There is a liquor store that is not too far from me, run by an Asian woman who is literally growing potatoes in her backyard. She lives out of that liquor store.
Hey, T's literally making fried chicken right now. Like, he's talking about being racist, and he just poured out some I'm watching him do it. We're roommates.
Say what now?
I did not know what the fuck to say.
I don't know what Shadow's talking about. I'm sorry. We're derailing this entire fucking panel.
Yeah, we were supposed to be talking about nerd stuff. Y'all were talking about nerd shit I don't even know about.
What?
So, okay, let's go back.
What y'all know about?
Huh?
Hey, somebody else called me a minute ago. He specialized, like, he's been doing D&D panels for like 12 years. But he hadn't done one on YouTube. But he works at a shop that he's at work tonight. But he said in the future he would love to have he has actually agreeing to what KC was saying. I told him that he's probably smoking too. So that's why they agreed with each other.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Nice. But yeah, there are times where I guess going back to settings and then expansion of story settings, there are times where people overexpand, and it's when you do overexpand that things get you hurt yourself because you end up contradicting yourself within the narrative as a whole, which we experience all the time. I mean, I think that one of the biggest hindrances that George R.R. Martin is dealing with right now. I'm sorry, it's just like
I hate him. I'm gonna just be real with you. I hate this man.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that hate George R.R. Martin. Is that one, he didn't plan his narrative properly, and two, he decided to take he didn't
He's lazy as fuck, man.
He didn't yes, he's 100% like an artist, 100% an artist. He didn't plan his narrative properly, so he doesn't know how he wants to end it. And now he's supposed to be winding down with the winds of winter, and he keeps on stalling because he doesn't know how to provide a satisfying ending while he focused too much on it being a grim, dark narrative.
I was about to say he can't end it correctly. He's stuck. Like it's nothing he could do that be satisfying enough, I guess you could say. I'm guessing with what he wants to do with it, right? Like in terms of maybe he say, this is what I want the outcome to be. However, he know fans at this point, right? Because they're avid at this point for what's his name? God dang, why am I looking at Lord Stark and I'm forgetting the fucking.
Well, that's the issue. That I was bringing up earlier about why cosmology is important. because actually planning not only just planning your story out, but in understanding the twists and turns, because George R.R. Martin has created a series that has created a cult following, which again,
cult
like what we're
following?
talking, yeah,
Huh?
It
absolutely.
had a cult following. He
That
keeps on
shit is
creating.
not.
He
That shit
has
is.
okay. He has 2
That's
spin-off
the modern
series
day Lord
now.
of the Rings. Yeah, that's the modern day Lord of the Rings. If we
Bro
keep it.
has 2 spin-off series now, but he hasn't finished his main series book.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm saying hold up, hear me out, guys. So the reason why the point of these panels and the point of this one that is important is, yes, when I started the Gaia Chronicles, I didn't plan my story out far enough. I just knew at the beginning his sister died, and at the end, he's dying too. That was it. And everything else was fight scene for like 1,300 pages.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So I've got a
Yeah.
question. Maybe
Yeah?
y'all can help me with it.
What's up?
And answer it like as basic as you possibly can, like I'm a retard.
Uh-huh.
What is cosmology?
Oh, I had
We
that. I
spent
had the
like 2
definition of
hours
that.
arguing about this definition earlier.
Nah, fuck it, cause we don't have to. That's what I always be saying. We don't have to argue about definitions. A word is clearly defined. Fuck what our definition is. We can just use the definition, and it is just really the building. It's the world, like the universe, and basically like the physics, like how things work in that world. That's the
Okay.
cosmos.
Yeah.
Basically what are the
Alright,
rules
Sean.
for your setting?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like have y'all read Dune before?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So the cosmology in there would be like it has the same physics as our universe, but they're supernatural beings that can do things that our universe can't. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
even their
Yeah.
armor is set in their cosmology, but they have an actual explanation for why it works.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Basically,
And that's
it's
the
more of
thing.
like,
That's
oh, bro.
Glacier. I would love to have a whole magic codex, like explaining a magic system panel one day, because I love
do
doing
that.
that.
We can do that. I can I was in the process. I was actually talking to Claude about my magical setting. I can sort of set that up sooner than you would expect. I'll just have to talk to Claude and ask him to detail all of my classes, because I do actually I have thought a great deal about that in particular.
Well, and so here's the thing. I think whether you're doing a game, whether you're tabletopping, whether you're writing a book, or whether you're even just creating anything, even a song, I think understanding how it affects not just the people in that story, but also the people who are going to be reading that story is very important. So, like, in my world, my whole magic system is based on Rift, right? And Rift is the resonating internal force. It's the force that we all have that we're born with. Just in my world, it's enhanced to cosmic scales. Everybody in my universe is technically overpowered. Like fire titans can regenerate from from being atomized, but water titans see the future. So I brought the questions up like, well, if somebody can see the future and somebody can't be hit, the shadow titans, who would win in that fight? Or if somebody can see the future and somebody can stop the future, who wins in that fight? So, and then it made me think about, well, if you freeze time, if I freeze time at minute 1 and he sees minute 3, but I can only stop 2 minutes of time, does his 3 minutes begin when my 2 minutes ends of my frozen time? Or does it begin, or is his new 3 minutes refreshed at the end of my frozen time? So it became quantum physics of a magic system. and I actually tried breaking it down to figure it out. Oh,
Dear Lord.
bitch! They canceled my Cinnabon.
What? Oh my god. Dang.
I'm so
Anywho,
mad about that.
I know.
I
I
really
can.
wanted that Cinnabon.
I've never had a Cinnabon.
It's so commercialized now.
Yeah.
Anywho, that could be. We could
Don't
probably
you
plan.
don't you ignore my
What?
feelings right now?
I'm ignoring your feelings. Man up.
I'm distraught.
Good to know. Man up.
Hi,
Anywho,
hi, Diva.
you can take it. But yeah, so basically the cosmology is the foundations of whatever kind of setting that you're trying to build up. Whatever you set down as a foundation, you can create a world around it. For me, I decided to make a very large and expansive world because I want to compensate for creatures like dragons to show up. Um, who are for my dragons, I want them to be Asian inspired, so like Chinese dragons. So I decided to make my world significantly larger.
So it's the setting.
Yeah, it's almost like the rules of the setting instead, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the meta. It's the meta setting.
Yes, the meta of the setting.
Yeah.
Like in my book, I have there's 5 magic systems all across my planet, and each one has a compounding magic effect.
Now,
In
when you say
in eight,
I have, are you writing a book?
yes, I'm writing an entire book series.
Yes, let me get the links. Or
Are
unless
you
you wanna
writing
you
a
wanna
book,
drop the
Glacier?
links? Yes, I'm in the process of working on
No
a
kidding.
book.
KT, are you writing a book too?
KT?
Oh, he left because I was talking about watermelons.
Dang. KT is working on a video game. I know for a fact as well as a book.
No kidding. So all three. So y'all are all creative artist type people. That's freaking awesome. I'm humbled now because I'm not that guy. So yeah.
I think everybody has a story to tell. And that's one of the reasons why, when she brought this up, I thought it was a really good idea to have these panels. Because even in stories that you don't typically think about, I think that if you sat down and you were like, you know what, I want to tell a story about some shit I saw one day, and you could like make it into a real life story.
I mean, yeah. They're like basically everybody has at least one story to tell. But then
Yeah.
again, storytelling is something that's foundational to the human experience. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it sounds like fun to actually write something that you enjoy, like that's like just pure creativity like that. I the only writing I've ever done is I've been published in a few like political type outlets and things for political writing and that sort of stuff, but not anything like what y'all are talking about. Not anything that's fun.
I can understand that. I guess for me, I've always liked creative little narratives.
Yeah, what's your world, Glacier? He talked all about his magic world. What's your world? Is it just the dinosaur thing you were talking about with the wings?
Sima, the world of Sima, which is where I have dragons. There are also there are how do I say, not metaphysical, what supernatural creatures that are set in the world as well as monsters, but I wanted it to be a much more grounded setting where um people a lot of the characters and a lot of the characters are limited on what they can do, and it's not that it can't necessarily break the setting. They can be powerful, but there's still a cap on how powerful that they can be, as in there are certain creatures and monsters that easily outpace them in
Oh.
power.
So you made a hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're not a commie. Got it.
Definitely not a copy. We don't tolerate that copy shit. Anywho, I think we actually had a really nice panel, and we've actually had a really nice narrative, and we technically did go through all of our points. I think this is a nice place to start winding everything down.
My name is Shadow the Titan Wasp. I'm the author of the Gaia Chronicles, and I'm in full support of Glacier's transition.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I had fun. I go by many different names. You'll see me places, and it was nice to be on the panel. You know, Glacier, you're making me crazy. So
Of course. It was nice having you on the panel as well. So good. Bye. KT, are you here or no? Are you here at all? No? No, okay. Well, it is just me now. Thank you all for watching. It was a nice long panel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. If you want more content like this, drop a comment down below as well, and we will catch you next time. Bye.